Hey everybody, welcome back to the All Bros Podcast, episode 184, The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. It's your old pal DJ. Vic is gone. He is deceased. He has been snapped away by Thanos. He did have one good opinion about Jack Black and Kyle Gass, and I appreciate him for that, but we lay Vic to rest as the guy who was almost the next All-Bro. It's me now. I'm the most guested and the next All-Bro. Caleb and Rose, how are you guys doing today? It's good to have you on my new podcast. How's it going?
Super great. Super great.
Yeah. This is amazing.
This is the Untrained Eye takeover, but only the half of the Untrained Eye is here. Bethany sends her best wishes to you both.
Oh, we miss Beth.
Yeah, we do.
She did
Hopefully
say
next
hello.
time we collaborate, she can be here.
Yeah. She'll be like, DJ, stop messing with their show. Let them do their thing. I'll let you do the real intro now.
What up, bros? Welcome to the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we are joined by special guest, fourth unofficial, or not fourth, third. I don't know, whatever bro number you are.
It's number one in the hearts, but it's number 3 on the charts. Hey, hi, it's DJ, your third favorite bro, here to take his rightful place from Victor. That's right, I'm using your full government name, Victor, of the Crash and Taz podcast, who thinks that he's going to overtake me as most favorite, most guested, and he'll never do it. I'm DJ from the Untrained Eye, and I've come to steal from Victor. Hello, everyone.
Oh, this is going to be a great episode, guys. But welcome to the All Bros Podcast. Rose and I are a couple of aspiring filmmakers that love to watch and critique movies, but also enjoy a lot of bit of the nerd life. This week on the podcast in Funko Focus, we have a couple new figures to talk about. Actually, there's a lot of figures to talk about, but all of them are coming in one pack. So, yeah, so we have that to talk about. Rose has has some concerns from Funko or for Funko. And then moving on to Through the Wall, we have a new trailer for a new Star Wars series coming out. And then we're going to be discussing What If a little bit. And then after that, we'll get into this week's headliner, where we'll be breaking down The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So long. Oh.
Do it better than me.
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Brooker, and I want to talk to you about my fun horror podcast called Autopsy of a Horror Movie. Each week, I will talk about a different horror movie through one or two ways. Either a kill grade episode, where I come up with a cool rubric to grade the kills in each movie. I'll talk about the style, the method, and how impactful it was on me. At the end of the episode, I'll rank all the kills and tell you which ones are my favorite and which ones I thought sucked. I do also like to get a little academic with the movies and do more of what I call a horror review. I will talk about what was good, what was bad, what types of psychological fears the movie plays off of, and what I thought was the scariest part of the movie, while also throwing in some interpretation and wacky theories for the movie. You can find my podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, and new episodes come out on Tuesdays. Also, if you're a YouTube fan, these episodes are made available 48 hours early on my YouTube channel at Autopsy of a Horror Movie. Please be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BruckerHorror, or email me at bruckerhorror@gmail.com to let me know your thoughts and interpretations, or if you have a movie request you'd like for me to do. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and I hope you get to enjoy the show.
Alrighty, first up in Funko Focus. Rose, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Okay.
Like this figure, I feel came out of nowhere, at least from
It did.
from you. So I want to hear what you have to say about this one.
Okay, so I don't know why this is like concerns me so much, but so Funko has done some interesting choices. You'd think that Funko would be more family friendly, but they've entered into the horror world. They've done Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, all those classic horror characters, and I know they've decided to do like retro toy kind of stuff. So like they've done Rock'em Sock'em Robots, just doing all that stuff. I did not expect them to do the piece that you have with the Ouija board. I did not expect Funko to want us to try to contact the other side.
Can I just say real quick, right now, currently, if you look, do you see how my eyes are looking off camera in this direction? I am looking directly at a bloody knife being held by a small good guy doll. So I'm just saying it is a possessed doll by a grown man serial killer holding a bloody knife. That's what I'm currently looking at with my eyes.
See, that's why I think I'm like this truly showcases why I'm weird, because that's just fine. Like, like more power to Funko, but an actual Ouija board piece, stop the presses. That's just too much.
P.S. If I move my gaze over to the left and look directly in front of me, zombie Black Panther. That's what I'm looking at. By the way, both of these are in pop form. They're not just hanging out in my studio. So, yeah, I like that. What about the Ouija piece wigs you out the hardest?
I don't know. I've never used one, nor do I plan to. So I don't know. That kind of stuff just like kind of like a little scares me, kind of freaks me out. So the fact that they actually made a Funko Pop of it is just wow. So what actually best comment?
The Ouija board thing, like the whole setup, like you have to do it with someone else, right? That's like a rule.
You know what? I don't know.
No.
Let's ask the Parker brothers. I just want to again say, I have another pop even further to my left that says Devil Flanders, and it's Flanders as the devil, not dressed as the devil. He's got hooven feet, and he's got little horns sticking up out of his head that are his own horns. Go on, Ouija.
Yeah. So it isn't like okay. I think you're like misrepresenting this figure, because it's the Ouija board piece, the like whatever the weird triangular piece is, but it has like a face on it.
But he is also holding a smaller Ouija board in his hand.
I didn't realize that, and I may now have to get that.
Yeah, so it's your concern that people are going to use that figure on their Ouija boards, or
no? My concern is, what if kids, they're like to their parents, "Oh, Mom, can I get this figure?" "No, son, you can't." "Well, why not? What's a Ouija board?" And then, parents will have to be like, "Oh, hell no, I ain't telling my kid what that is." Or, "You know what, Timmy? This is what a Ouija board is."
Yeah, heaven forbid you have to talk to your child.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Exactly.
You say that. Can your child even talk yet? That's a no. That's a hard no.
She has a couple words here and there, but it's baby speak, so she cannot speak like an adult.
I will tell you this, like, I don't know if you've seen kids go from babies to adults, and even though my nephews aren't adults yet, like, I held them when they were mere hours old, and now I have conversations with them, and I'm like, how do you even exist? Like, you're just a little glowworm, and now you're just speaking to me with your own thoughts. You have thoughts? What is your deal, kid? You're 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've never quite experienced that. Like, I've had cousins, like younger, like baby cousins, so I've seen them as often as we've traveled to visit them. So it's like every year I kind of like it gets more and more like conversational. And yeah, so like this is my first experience going from being with someone from birth to adulthood
to person. Because by the way, not a person. They're not a person until they're like, listen, let me tell you about life, Dad. Let me tell you all about what life is like. And you're like, you're 6. And they're like, yeah. It's about cheese sticks and chocolate milk. Sit down and let me tell you a tale about what life is really all about, Caleb. You'll be like, you call me father. What are you doing? I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm just waiting for the day when she's like 4 or 5 years old and she's just like, I give her some food and she's like, well, I was listening to this podcast about how unethical milk is. So, and then like pushes it away and like, I'm not drinking that.
Like, it's goat's milk. They like it.
Just waiting for that, because I know it's coming. Like, I talk about podcasts all the time. She's going to look up what podcasts are, and she's going to find some. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to be LeVar Burton's Reading Rainbow.
That's hilarious. So, Ouija placards, what is that thing called, you think? It's got a name. The Planchard?
Those do have a name.
I think that's what it's called. Planchard.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make earlier,
Yes.
I don't have, like, if you have to do that with someone, like, if you have to use a Ouija board with someone, I don't trust anyone in my life enough to not mess with me. Like, I don't think they would go in it with genuine intention like I would.
Oh, I would. I would. Yeah.
You would go in it with me, genuine intention, trying to communicate with a spirit, or would you try and mess with me?
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant genuinely mess with you. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's
That's what
genuinely
I would
messing
expect
with
from everyone, so I wouldn't believe
Okay,
a
good.
single thing. Like, we could actually be communicating with a spirit. You could swear on the life of your children that you did not do anything. Like, you just had your hands placed on there and moved with whatever spirit was moving you. I would never believe you.
you. I mean, as you shouldn't, because I don't have children, so I couldn't swear on them.
May I just say the piece, the actual piece, the one that they are making the pop of is called a planchette. But when I just typed in Ouija plan, it filled in planchette. But the very first thing that you can buy, if you would like to buy an Ouija board, is a Stranger Things branded Ouija board by Hasbro.
Of course. Of course.
So there you go. That's what I'm getting you for Christmas, Rose.
Dude, at
You
that
can
point, I would
communicate
just...
with the spirit of old Saint Nick. Because, spoiler alert, kids, Santa Claus died in 1992. That's right. I saw the Santa Claus. Go ahead.
Can I communicate with Krampus instead?
Yeah. By the way, the fact that you're worried about Funko making people commune, or like, what is it? Glorifying communing with the dead. The fact that you would pick Krampus is amazing. Because doesn't he just like rip people in half King Shark style? Isn't that his whole deal?
Dude, he has a pop
know.
figure where he has a kidnapped child in his sack.
I mean, considering in the movie he makes all of his minions do the work, so I don't know if he would actually rip someone in half.
So
I
he's
admit to
lazy.
you, I've never seen Krampus. I only know the tale of Krampus. I've never seen the movie.
Dude, I'm teaching my kid about Krampus. Dude, like, she's gonna get to that age where she's just like, she's gonna go from like, I don't believe in Santa, and I'm gonna be like, oh, well, you know who you should believe in? Krampus. He is very real.
Do you want to lose your mom and dad? Didn't think so.
All of a sudden, she's in the living room summoning Krampus with an Ouija board. Take them away. They wouldn't give me a PlayStation 7. I hate those guys.
Dude, the conversations I'm going to have with my children as they get older is going to be insane. I don't believe in Santa. Well, you should believe in Krampus, and Krampus is going to come take us away, and you're going to be orphaned. And guess what? We're not rich enough for you to become Batman, so what are you going to do?
Dude, perfect idea for one Christmas. if Iris is bad, you guys hide on Christmas morning. I will send personally as my gift to her the Krampus bell, and there we go. Just she's going to be traumatized for life. I see no problems with this plan. Iris, if you're listening to this in the future, your uncle loves you, but this might be a little fun.
Or I'll just like get a hotel room for me and my wife for the night, and then just make it look like we struggled out. Oh, it doesn't snow in Georgia. Shit, that was like 90% of my plan to make it look like there was a struggle.
So visit Utah for that year. Visit Utah for that year, and then we can still.
Well, that's not going to work. My parents would freaking lose their mind if they knew I did that.
Wait, did you say your parents or her parents?
My parents.
Hey, if your parents
they
lose
wouldn't
their
let
mind,
me get away with that.
Be like, hey, I didn't tell you how to raise your kid. Don't tell me how to raise mine.
I am fairly certain that would not go over well.
No, it would not.
Do your parents listen to this show, by the way?
They do not. My mom...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, my mom does not listen to podcasts at all. She only listens to conservative talk radio. And my dad thinks that podcasting is a waste of time and effort, and so he thinks our podcast is stupid. He's told us or at least he's told me multiple times. He's just like, "Why don't you do something productive?"
I think I want to have him as a guest on Dragging the Table and be like,
"No, you do not."
Yeah,
dude.
Oh, ye of little faith! I would love to have him on and be like, "Let's do a deep dive on Caleb's dad." Hey, Caleb's dad. Let's drag the table.
Dude, I tell everyone, I'm like, do you just want your self-esteem completely crushed? Talk with my dad about something you enjoy.
Dude, he's even like calling me. Dude, no, like he is seriously so right. Because like when I've been at work, this was like years ago when we first started doing the podcast, but I would run into your dad at work and he's just be like, "Hey, so you guys still doing the podcast?" Yeah. It's like, "Oh, how is it wasting your life away or doing something that wastes your time?" I'm like, "Damn, you know what? It's going great. I'm loving it, but damn."
Is your dad my mom? Is that what's happening right now? Does your dad moonlight as my mother?
Dude, and I think what's worse about it is he'll act like he's showing a genuine interest. Like it was like 4th of July, we were hanging out together, and he was asking me about it. He's just like, "How's you still doing the podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, how's that going? Like, yeah. Yeah. I was just super defensive because I freaking love doing this podcast. It's my baby.
So here's what's going to happen.
Iris, your dad didn't mean that.
I'm going to have your dad on Dragging the Table. He's going to be my triumphant return to doing that show again. You're going to give me all the dirt that I need so that at the opportune moments, I can just 360 dunk on him and be like, "Well, why do you do this then? Cuckoosh!" And he'll be like, "Oh, is this what it feels like?" And I'll be like, "Yes, that is what it feels like. Go hug your son and tell him you love him."
I don't know if that would work because he's I've tried, dude.
Dunking on him or
yeah, so he's he'll sit there and he'll ask, he's like, "So what does the podcast do to make you money?" And I'm like, "I don't do it for money, I do it for fun." And he's like, "Does it cost you money?" And I'm like, "A little bit."
Hey, does he get anything from mowing the lawn? Okay,
he doesn't. No, he pays someone to mow the lawn.
Okay, well, why are you paying someone to do it when you could do it yourself? What are you, lazy? You lazy bum? You lazy bones?
Dude, I've tried so much with that. He's just like, "Because I can afford to. That's why." Or because he'll just "I don't understand why you would do something if it's not bringing you an income." And I'm like, "You ride a Harley. Does that bring you an income?"
Does he text you ever?
No, and he's like, "My dad?"
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Sad.
That's okay. I haven't texted or called my mother in close to a decade. So let's see. Listen, this is an off-air discussion, but I'm going to figure out how we're going to dunk on your dad so hard that they are going to hear it. They are going to hear it on the other coast. Rose is going to call you and be like, "Did it happen?" And you're going to be like, "Yeah, it happened."
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
I mean, I guess at that point I can die happy. But I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Caleb.
Dude, it is so freaking hard. I keep everything like so close to the chest now when I do anything that I enjoy. Like, I'm so hesitant about like sending a picture or like asking for help. Like, I needed
so
help
sad.
wiring electrical out in my shed. And it was just like a matter of like getting a wire hooked up, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to shock the shit out of myself. And so I was just like, "Hey, how do I go about doing this?" And he's like, "Well, did you check the breaker?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, is there any power going to it?" And I'm like, "No, not that I can tell." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "I can like touch the wire and it doesn't shock me." And he's like, "Okay, just connect the two." He's like, "What are you, stupid? Like, just do it." And
Damn.
like, just has a way of making me feel.
What do you mean
super
away?
dumb.
It's not like he's subtle. How may I ask? This is a completely different show now, and I apologize. But how old is your dad?
Good question.
Is he older than 60?
No, he is. I don't think he's. Shit. How old is he? 49.
49?
Or in it? No, that's not right. Because I'm 25. He was born in 1972.
This is not going to help. I am not good at
72.
Yeah.
72. Wait, he's how old am I? He's 49.
Yeah, that's how old he is.
Shit.
Listen,
So
I
he's
can't.
almost
I
50.
can't make this the smack talking Vic and your dad podcast. So
It's gotta be
Funko
one or the
Focus. I
other.
hear there's a new art series of Funkos coming out to veer
we
back
can
into
get
traffic.
into that. We can get into that.
Yeah.
I apologize to all the regular listeners that I just started doing my own show over here and started grilling people about stuff that wasn't movies.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so there's an Avengers 6-pack coming out on Amazon that we're going to talk about. It is the art series, and it has all 6 of the original Avengers all colored to look like Infinity Stones. But they're not like I'm pretty sure they're not chrome like the other ones that they've done, like with the Thanos and Hulk. Right?
I
No,
didn't.
they kind of look like the material they use for like the Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, like almost like
Funko
a
Pops.
gel or something, or not gel, but like it looks like gel but hard.
Okay.
I don't know.
So what's the art part of it? Is it just
I think it's
like, do
because
they have a design?
I'm trying to find it right. Okay, let me see. So it's $60. You can still pre-order it now. I'm like on the fence of whether I want to order this, but it looks like, let me see this picture. So it's an art series because each of, so it's got Thor. It looks like Thor, and he is purple. Whatever stone that correlates to. Captain America is all blue to go with the blue stone. What's her face? Black Widow, red, all red. Hawkeye, orange. Hulk, green, got him. And Iron Man, yellow. So I don't know what those stones correspond to, but that's the.
And I appreciate Hawkeye's the Soul Stone. I appreciate that.
Because he tried to sacrifice himself and couldn't. Why won't they give Hawkeye a break in those movies? They're like, hey, man, you could almost be a hero. And they're like, nah. It's still Black Widow.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to figure out what, like, the art is, but it just looks like they're painted like a galaxy.
I mean,
It's
I
just
like
a different shade.
I like the way it looks, but again,
I just wish they were
like,
kind of sold separately because I wish that you could buy the whole pack if you wanted to, but if you wanted to, you could also buy them separately. Because I'm sorry, the only one I want is Hawkeye, and I can't buy him now.
Dude, I'm trying to figure out what these poses are, because the Iron Man one looks new.
I mean, he just seems to be
think.
like standing there like Superman style, just arms at his hips.
Someone posted the best comment with going off that. They're just like, oh, everyone looks super ready for battle, and then there's Iron Man.
And then there's Iron Man.
Like, you're not wrong.
And I want a close up on these figures because I want to see what these poses are. Because I know the Hulk one, it looks like the Avengers Endgame, where the figure I really don't like, where he's in that weird leotard. Hawkeye looks like his Endgame figure. Black Widow looks like hers. Cap, I can't quite figure out what Cap's is. Like, is that? I'm
It's
not
hard to
familiar
tell.
with his Endgame.
So I
then
noticed
Thor-
this actually. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. And then Thor,
No,
I'm
you're good. I cut you off.
trying to figure out what his is.
I think they might all be Endgame because, like, because Hawkeye and Hulk for sure look like Endgame. Do you know, Rose? I see you.
Yeah. Sorry. No. Sorry. I just want to. So I think I figured this out. So, when Endgame was first released with the first wave of Funko Pops, they had them all in their Quantum Realm suits.
Mm.
So this is basically it. Like, the Hulk is in his Quantum Realm, Hawkeye's in his Quantum Realm, Black Widow, Cap, and then Thor. They did change a little bit, but he's still in his Quantum Realm suit. He just has the long hair now. And then with Iron Man's, they took the one, because Iron Man's, it was just Tony Stark in the Quantum Realm suit. So now they're just like, okay, well, let's just take that pose and turn it into put the helmet on.
And I'm like searching all through this like post or whatever on Amazon, and it just is like it's giving all the no information. It's like, hey man, how many times can we say it's the Pop Artist Infinity Saga 6-pack? A lot. Way more than 6.
That's an interesting selection. Like I want to see what the poses are, because Thor's looks different. Like I don't remember him looking like that. Like isn't the Endgame where he's in the Quantum Realm suit? Doesn't he have short hair in that one?
Yeah, so the only difference with this one, still same pose, but instead of having the short hair, he has long hair. Just to kind of, I guess, make it like movie accurate, because when he is in his Quantum Realm suit, he does have long hair. He is Fat Thor, technically.
Dude, like what almost sold me on this and like almost made me want to buy it was when I saw that, like where he had the long hair and Stormbreaker. I thought for a second that he had it was the one with Mjolnir.
Oh, if only.
You know what I would say
And, yeah,
about
I was
this
like,
this 6-pack is like it's 6. You're getting 6 pops. It's technically only $10 a pop, and if you are like, I think if you don't have if you've never gotten one Funko Pop at all, but you are like a big fan of Marvel and you're like, what is a good entry point? Like, get this. Like, it'll look cool whether you leave it in the box or not. Like, it'll be like a cool thing to have and look at. But if you're like some of us on this podcast right now and you have so many Funko Pops that you don't even dare count them anymore for fear of the shame that will wash over you, you look at that and go, huh, that's interesting. I'm glad Amazon has this exclusive. That's how I feel about these pops.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Dude, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with my space to put up all my figures. So this one, it's just like, I want it so bad, but I can't justify dropping $60 on something.
No, that's fair.
Especially something like that, because I like getting my figures individually or one at a time or whatever. So buying them in bulk like that is really tough. Which
I mean, the display piece
sucks
is cool.
because I've been wanting to get that Avengers Assemble collection where they're all
Where it's like a bunch of different pieces, and they like is it the Assemble or is it that Swarma scene, or are they both the same?
I wanted the Assemble. I didn't quite want the Shawarma just because I'd rather have one with Hulk in it, not stupid little Banner.
Damn.
Dude, I freaking hate
so
Banner
much
for
shade towards Ruffalo.
I know, dude.
So much shade.
I know my anger should be directed at the Russo brothers for what they did to the Hulk, but I'm not super thrilled with Banner, so I'm taking it out on him for breaking the Hulk. So yeah, I'd rather have the Hulk in that collection than the Banner one in the Shawarma.
So you heard that, all bros out there, all you bros out there, coming this Christmas, Caleb would like the Hulk pop. So if you can just make that happen for him, that would be great. If we're making
I have
birthday...
the Hulk one. I just need everyone else.
Well, I mean, listen, they can either buy you the whole thing or they can just send you the Hulk by itself. And I would like to make a birthday wish or a Christmas wish. Please get the Happy Happy Joy Joy Ren and Stimpy 2-pack for me. It only costs $165, and
That's it.
I would really enjoy it. Because you made me think of like, oh, are there like 2-packs that I would like? And the only 2-packs or like multi-packs that I would like, rather than just one pop by itself. And Beth would for sure like the Dirty Dancing one, because there is one with Baby and Johnny like in one package. And I think her and I both would enjoy the Ren and Stimpy one. So I'm just saying, Christmas is right around the corner.
Dude, it honestly feels like it with how fast this year's been going by.
It's September, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's September, basically. The greatest month of all the whole year, where we all get together and go, never forget. Are you guys going to do... Oh, my God. Will you guys please do Flight 97 for 9/11? Is that what the movie was called? Remember right after 9/11, they were like, how can we capitalize on this and make some money? And they had like Flight 97 or whatever flight it was that crashed into the Pentagon. They were like, why don't we make a movie about this? And it'll be where everyone knows what happens at the end, kind of like Titanic.
Oh, man.
I didn't know that there was one on.
I'm pretty sure it's
only
called
seen-
Flight 97.
Because yeah,
DJ's out to get us canceled.
Yeah. I've only heard of United 93. That's the only.
Wait, is that what I'm
9/11
thinking
movie
of?
I've heard. It might be, but Flight 93 was the one that was headed towards the White House, but they crashed.
I think I got
to
two
a,
movies conflated, because there is a United 93 and a Flight 93, and I just put a 90 in there, and I think United 93 is what I'm thinking of. Rated R, because they all die at the end. So
Incredible movie. I don't know if you two have seen it, but
I mean,
incredible.
listen, I saw
I
it.
cry every time.
I saw it the one time when it came out, and I was still too young to, I don't know, probably take that as seriously as I should have. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How long did it take to make a Titanic movie? And we're like, let's make this movie about these people that there's no possible. All I could think of when I was watching that movie is the only part for sure that we know happened is when they play the black box stuff at the end, because everything else, they're playing people's conversations and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is nothing. Like, this is just some weird interpretation of what they think might have happened on this plane. And it's, I still to this day think about that movie, and it's I feel like it's a super odd thing to have done, especially that close to the actual 9/11.
It came out, I think, like not even like 5 years after.
2006 is when it came out.
Shit.
Wow.
They were like, hey, is the ground still smoldering? Well, we came out with this cool movie. So
I know. What was it? I think like Paul Greengrass, the director, like he actually had to like go around to like all the families that had people on that plane just to make sure that it wasn't too soon.
I don't believe that. Not for 1 second. I feel like
Not
that's
even
something
a
that
little
they
I mean,
bit.
that's what they
said.
said in the audio commentary on the DVD.
Sorry, I'm looking through the trivia now to see if it says anything about it. God,
Dude,
yeah.
honestly, like thinking about it, like if I were to put myself in the shoes of one of those family members, I would tell him no, but I would still not watch. And if he like released the movie anyway, I wouldn't watch it.
that's
The
fair.
filmmakers donated. You would think that all proceeds would be donated to some kind of a fund. Donated a percentage of the opening weekend proceeds
That's
of Flight 93 to the memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. They donated over $1.15 million. Well, there you go. They did it. It's hey everybody, it's next month. It's United 93 on the All Bros starring Vic. He's back. He said he wanted to win and be the most guested, so he's got to do United 93 next month.
Now he's going to be on the most controversial episode. There we go.
apparently our most
That's how you win,
controversial
Vic.
was last week.
Dude, I
Like,
have some
so far.
opinions about all the things. I have so many opinions. I finally listened to your breakdown because we watched Freaky, and I listened to your guys' assessment of it. Got some opinions about that. What else? The Suicide Squad. So many opinions about that one too. Listen, for all of you listening now, I asked probably moments too late to be on the show, and I have never regretted being delayed more in my life than when I listened to the Suicide Squad episode and said, come on, you guys. It's not that bad. The polka dot man was for sure supposed to die when he realizes, he literally turns to the camera, says, I'm a superhero, and then immediately dies. He had to die in that moment. He was no longer a villain. Like, he was doing the super right thing. That was a great choice to kill him in that moment. How about how many times have you ever cried when a rat just nestled itself on someone's kneecap? You never did until this movie. Okay, how is that not character development? I mean, listen, King Shark. King Shark, he went from only knowing his own body parts to, like, later on, he was like, bird. He knew something outside of himself that wasn't a nom-nom. We're seeing character development. We're seeing story being pushed forward. We're seeing music being used in a way that, compared to the first Suicide Squad, David Ayer should be embarrassed. Embarrassed. The fact that man keeps saying, release the Ayer cut, no. Nobody wants to see it. We saw the Ayer cut, and we didn't like it unanimously. We liked the James Gunn cut. By the way, there is the Suicide Squad moment in the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, just so we're all clear on that. One of my favorite moments in the movie, when they had a Team A, Team B situation. And they were like, yeah, man, we hired you guys to be the diversion. And in case I don't get to say it, I got to say it now. So what you guys said about the end of Freaky, you were like, everything was good up until, as it turns out, Vince Vaughn's character lived, and he came back and he tried to kill them, and like that kind of brought the movie on a little too far. While I don't disagree technically with that, like, I feel like the people making that movie and everyone involved knew that movie was most likely never going to get a sequel. And so I think that part that happened where he came back to life and attacked them and all that other stuff happened, that should have been an after credits scene that happened. But I think that is like what would happen in any, because they hit so many tropes in that movie that I think the guy actually lived and he came back to attack them in the next, Halloween 2 or whatever, Freaky 2. That tracked to me really hard with that movie. Like that made perfect sense for what they were trying to do, and knowing that was going to be really their only shot to do it. So I've said my piece, guys. This was a great show. I'll see you next time.
That's fair. I mean, I think it would have definitely worked better as an end credit.
For sure.
But yeah, I think it was just how immediate after everything kind of concluded that they tried doing that just threw off the pacing. So I think that, yeah, as an end credit, that would have worked way better.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're stupid like me and you're listening right now and you have not watched Freaky yet, turn everything off and go watch Freaky. It's such a good movie. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense how good that movie is. It should not. On paper, that movie is garbage. And somehow they make it real and they make it good. Go watch it.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. Vince Vaughn plays a teenage girl. Freaking, what's his face? Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off gets cut in half.
I mean, listen, you can't ask for much more than that. By the way, I will say this to anyone who is wondering about that movie. Shockingly gory. Like, I was not ready for it to be as gory as it was. And I was okay with it, but I was like, whoa. Like, I was like, okay, I guess we're just going all in right away, huh? I'm sorry. What if? Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. We're still on Funko Focus.
Oh,
I tipped the hand.
Well,
too
we
far.
can move on to Through the Wall. So just real quick, I don't know how much you guys have to say about it, but I am super excited for this new Star Wars project that they're releasing later this month. Actually, Star Wars
That was in
Vision.
September.
It is September.
Is it
But
September?
we were just talking about how it's September, basically.
Oh, yeah, it's
so
true.
later this month.
So Caleb, your statement still stands.
Yeah, not as much as it did, but I'm super freaking excited for this series. They have 7 different anime studios working on 9 different stories that they're going to tell in the Star Wars universe, but it's in anime form, and I could not be more excited about it because I've always thought Star Wars would make a excellent anime. And I'm not even the biggest fan of anime in general.
Same.
Like, there's a few here and there that I really like.
Yeah, same.
But I've always found it really hard to kind of get into it. But Star Wars, I'm all in, especially with the shit that they showed. I mean, what?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what are your, like, Rose, what are your animes? Like, do you have one that you're like, I'm okay with that one? And it can't be Avatar because you haven't watched it yet.
I've watched. I'm getting there,
Liar.
but
Where are you at?
What's the Fire Lord's name?
Why do you all got to test me on names?
What is
Because
Aang's,
I believe
Horrible with names.
what is Aang's flying bison's name?
Fuck.
No.
Are you shitting me?
get
You
out.
haven't watched a single episode.
I'm muting
Yes,
your
I
track.
Caleb, you can kiss my ass.
You haven't
DJ,
watched a
you're still
single
cool, but Caleb can
damn
kiss my ass.
episode.
Appa, yip,
Bullshit.
yip. Good lord.
Appa, that's what it is. Thank you.
What's
That's
his flying
cheating.
monkey's
That's
name?
basically.
What's his flying monkey's name? Have you got to the flying monkey yet? Have they made it to the air temple?
He's definitely
Yeah.
made it to the. What's the monkey's name?
God damn it! How am I forgetting these?
I'll give you a
See,
hint.
you're lying.
Mojo Jojo.
It is not that. I know.
No,
it's
but
not.
that's a hint.
Oh. It's not
hint
Momo, is it?
It's Momo. It is Momo.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Dude, that was basically a Beth level trivia hint.
By the way, I don't know when exactly, like, we just started doing that trivia on our show because we thought it was fun. And apparently that has, like, overtaken as, like, the thing that the show is actually about is everyone getting frustrated that Beth gives great hints and I cannot get any of the hints.
Dude, okay, when this is a total side note. With the trivia, with Beth's hints, unless you get it like really quick, I don't know the answers to a lot of the questions that you guys ask. Like, there's maybe been like one or two that I've been able to guess, but I've been able to figure it out way faster than you based off of Beth's hints.
I would just like to say unequivocally, because people seem to think that I'm like putting it on and like I am drawing it out further because like I'm like, oh, it'd be funnier if I just didn't know. I'm that dumb, folks. Like, I truly don't know the answers. If I knew, I would say it as quick as possible and I would brag about it. But I don't know. So I like to tack on Titan. What about you, Rose?
I still have not watched that.
No, I mean, like, what is your, like, if you have one anime that you're forced to watch, like, what would you pick?
Probably Dragon Ball, because I was kind of forced to watch that at Caleb's house.
Listen,
that's fair. We all were forced to watch that at my house.
If I had to force you guys to watch one, I don't remember much of it anymore because I think it's been like since I was in high school or college whenever I watched it. But Cowboy Bebop, I remember being very good.
That one
I've heard good things about Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
It's good. Honestly, if that was on like a streaming service I already had because I can't get any more, I've got too many. I would watch that. I would watch that again. All of this to say that the Visions thing, much like I feel like the way that they're doing it is kind of like how Netflix did their Love, Sex, and Robots. How they just had like all these little like mini vignettes of different animation studios that would just tell all these different stories. It's in that vein of like, hey, listen, there's all these Star Wars stories to tell. There's all these different people that would want to do it. We can do these one-off stories. And I don't know that I'm necessarily a fan of like the cutesier looking ones, but I had a buddy tell me, I love that they're doing this, and I'll tell you why. I had a buddy tell me like a couple years ago, and I don't know why it never hit me. He was like, the original trilogy are some of the best how did he say it? Samurai movies in space that I've ever seen. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, those are straight up like samurai movies in space. Like, that's what it is. Like, they are old, like, not quite kung fu movies, but I don't know. Ronins? I don't know enough about ancient whatever. But it made sense because I'm like, oh, look, the white belt, old Skywalker over there, just an idiot farm kid, and then old man swordsmith comes up and is like, yo, your dad was crazy, bro. Take this sword and let's get out of here. And he's like, an adventure? I would love to go on an adventure. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Listen, Visions look great. So
yeah, I'm super excited for the lightsaber battles. I think those look super cool, and I love like the new lightsaber styles that we're getting. Like, there was one at the very end of the trailer that it looked like multiple whips coming and grabbing this girl's lightsabers.
Was that or was that the girl that was like, instead of being a droid, she actually had 6 arms and seemed to be doing a General Grievous on somebody, or Grievous on somebody?
I think it was her. She had like multiple, but it looked like they turned into whips. And like, we're just wrapped around whoever her name is going to be.
I'm just glad we're not going to have to wait
lightsaber.
long for this. The end of the month.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, I just love like the action that they showed us. Like the dude with the freaking lightsaber umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
or the like
dope.
just like all these little things like just made me super pumped. Like the guy or the dude stopping the stun blasts with the troopers in front of them. I'm like, oh, they effed up.
You know what's funny is that was one of the scenes that I was like, yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because I did think it was cool, the blaster bolt being stopped in midair, and when he stopped the lightsaber like with the force with his hands, like right as it was about to chop that dude in half.
Dude,
yeah. This is gonna be awesome, and the cool thing I think will be about it too, or that I hope we find out about it. I hope none of this is going to be like, you know, quote unquote canon, or maybe it's happening like way on the other side of the galaxy and we'll just never know where these people are, so that we can see like all this cool, crazy Force stuff that doesn't necessarily have to show up in Mandalorian, or, you know, once we get the new sequel trilogy, that'll be the real one and not the one we got, which was not the real one. And you know, any other movies we might see.
That kind of hurt, DJ. Ouch.
Listen, I stand by that.
Force Awakens.
I stand by that those three movies are from three separate trilogies from three separate dimensions. Okay? Like, those three didn't belong together, and somehow they were mashed together in this fourth dimension where we had to see all of them connect together in a way that we were all unanimously like, what? Even Mark Hamill was like, huh? I'm the Joker and this doesn't make sense.
Oh, but that's all I had to say about that. I'm just super excited for the series, and it was significant to me because of how not big a fan of anime I am.
I agree.
I've only ever watched Dragon Ball. I watched One Punch Man, which was super weird.
Yeah, that seems like it would be more of like an existential show. Like, not a superhero show, but just a guy about being sad that he can kill everybody.
Yeah. Like, he just seems so bummed out about that stuff, and when the solution, you could just not work out. Like, if you have to do that shit every day to be as strong as you are, just don't.
Yeah, but
if it's going to bum you out.
He's punched so many people one time that he has so many enemies, he has to keep doing it. I've never seen the show. This is just my assumption.
Yeah, it's super anticlimactic because he'll punch someone that shows like a big threat. They freaking explode, and then they have like 2 or 3 episodes of build up of like this ultimate villain, and he seriously one punch destroys him. While he has like this apprentice that goes, and then he has like a big fight with him, gets his ass whooped, and then he comes in and just one punches him, and is like, that's it. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, like, this One Punch Man.
Yeah, like, this is such bullshit. And like the whole series like wraps around like there's superheroes. There's like an agency that gives you a superhero rating on how powerful of a hero you are, but he's like one of the lowest because no one believes that he actually does what he does.
That's hilarious. I may actually watch. Is this a many-seasoned show, or is it one of those like one-offs?
I only watched whatever was on Hulu at the time, and it seemed like it was only like 10 episodes.
I would watch 10 episodes of that. I would not watch 173,000 One Piece episodes. Everyone who watches One Piece, enough. We get it. You like pirates.
Yeah, it's like no joke. It's just someone comes in, wreaks havoc on the city. Everyone in the city's just like, oh my gosh, we need these A-list heroes, and the A-list heroes come, get their asses whooped, and then One Punch Man comes and punches them, and like something happens, or someone says something. Like, he did this where it was like some dude wasted like half the city, and then he comes and punches the dude in the face, and his face explodes all over the place. And then all of these bystanders are looking on this guy, and one of them's just like, oh, well, he must have not been that strong. And I'm like, he just destroyed half your city, asshole.
I want something.
Oh,
I want
shit.
One Punch Man to be folded into the DC universe, and much like there was a. Remember how there was like a, I don't know if it would be called a what if or what, but there was like a Deadpool versus the Marvel universe, and he just kills everyone, including the writers. Like, I want One Punch Man versus the DC universe, and just one punches everybody in the face. And he starts with Robin right in front of Batman, just ka
I'd pay to see that. That'd be hilarious.
And that's my soft pitch. Marvel what if, or sorry, DC what if.
But yeah. So speaking of what if, DJ, you wanted to talk about the first episode of Marvel's What If.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the first episode of Marvel's What If, starring Captain Carter as Captain Carter, just go ahead and skip forward, I guess, an hour, because I talk too much. And that was a really good episode. And I got to tell you, just to skip ahead, the funniest part about after that episode was over was reading on Twitter all the people that were like, Captain Carter was great. I loved it. They should make a movie with this Captain Carter person. She should get her own series and everybody should watch it and it would be great and we would love it. And I wanted to respond to each and every one of them. There was a series with her and everyone unanimously didn't watch it. And now it's gone. It was called Agent Carter. And we don't get to see it anymore because nobody watched it. So enjoy your what if, stupids, and go and watch reruns of the show that could never be because you were too much of a... How are people so nerdy that they were too nerdy to watch Agent Carter? They're like, well, it's not on a platform that doesn't exist yet called Disney Plus. I can't just watch it on television alongside of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That would be ridiculous. Sorry, I'm on a soapbox now. Listen, Agent Carter was great. I would love to see them. I've heard, maybe it was from you or from on Vic over at Crash and Taz. Not that I listened to that show, but if I did, he might have said something like that there was a rumor that they were going to try and make live action movies of these what ifs, which I immediately disagree with. But I do like the idea of, like, since we're getting the multiverse stuff, like just having some of these people appear. Like, I would love to see a, no spoilers, but T'Challa in his new role. I would like to see Captain Carter.
Can't.
Well, listen, through the magic of technology and industrial light and magic, we might be able to see.
That's the one what if that we can't see.
Well, for sure. Listen, again, spoiler alert, he might be wearing a helmet most of the time. So just saying. I mean, I wouldn't mind if those made a small appearance, or like if I don't know, new Captain America, what's his name, Falcon, showed up and was like, "Hey, I know you," and she's like, "Yeah, you do, but I'm stronger," and just punches him in the gut or something.
Dude, I loved the Agent Carter series, and I've watched it when it was on TV.
You were one of the dozen that watched it.
Yeah, and I was so mad when that ended. Like I was so mad because I was looking up, like, after the season 2 finale, I was just like, oh, like, I am ready for season 3. Like, this is going to be great. And so for like 6 months, I would, like, every weekend I would get on the computer and look up Agent Carter season 3, and like nothing. And then when it was finally like confirmed that it was canceled, I was so bummed.
I mean, best case scenario, maybe all this fervor for this what if show that happened can jumpstart a season 3. Is that even still possible? I don't know, but that would be nice to see, because I think I only saw some of season 1, and I liked that show. What was I going to say, though? I don't know how the rest of the episodes are going to be, but I liked how it gave the like Reader's Digest version of Captain America, the First Avenger, but if it had been Agent Carter who became Captain Carter, which I hate that they called her that. Why just call her Captain America? They weren't going to call him Captain Rogers. They were just going to always call him Captain America. And yes, I know they called him Captain Rogers, but listen. I liked every bit of it. I liked all of it. Like, was it you, Rose, that were saying, some people were saying like, oh, well, finally we got the good one now that episode 2 came out, because Captain Carter was okay, but now that we got episode 2, the real good one came out.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys really give two shits about IGN's reviews. Because most of the time I disagree with them. But yeah, I remember when the first episode came out, they gave it like a 5 for...
out of what, 5?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, you know, unfortunately they gave that one a 5, but then T'Challa Star-Lord they gave an 8, I think.
Let me tell you,
that's such bullshit.
It is, because here's the thing. I'm sure that episode's great, but it's definitely going to get undue praise because Chadwick Boseman died. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be extra hyped because of that. Like, look at The Dark Knight. Like, that was a great movie, but how much extra, like, how much further has that movie been pushed into the future because Heath Ledger died, like, the moment that movie came out? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's unjust, you know what I mean? Like, they both were great actors. I'm not saying anything bad about Chadwick Boseman, but I am saying that, come on, give it all. Marvel has proven time and time again they know what they're doing. Everybody just relax. It's all great.
It's true.
Without giving any spoilers, I think what the episode 2, the one with T'Challa, that episode had, it felt more like its own story
rather than like a retelling.
But that's what I really liked about Captain Carter. Like, a lot of the stuff that they skipped over, you could fill in the blanks on.
Yes.
And like, one thing in particular, like, I was really wondering, I'm like, okay, why, at least with my first viewing, I watched and I'm like, okay, why the hell isn't Bucky like being experimented on? And I'm like, oh, well, she just figured everything out a lot faster than Steve did. So, like, they didn't get a chance to take Bucky back and experiment on him. So that's why, like, he wasn't, like, back there and all that other shit.
The one thing...
like, it just... Captain Carter, like, her... Which I wish that they would have just gone with Captain Britain.
For sure.
Yeah, seriously. That was dumb.
Like,
but they didn't.
I know, but the reason they didn't do that is because Captain Britain is actually a character. And there's like a Captain Britain Corps with like multiple Captain. So I wish they would have just done Captain Britain. So whatever. Like, but yeah, I think the Captain Carter thing was kind of or calling her Captain Carter was
So I don't know everything I know about Marvel, I know from the movies. You know, I'm one of those guys who is super bandwagon. And so the one thing about the Captain Carter thing that I was like, is that all of a sudden they were like, Howard Stark was like, you know what I think I'm going to build? A big Iron Man. I'm going to just build him real quick, and then you're just going to fly around, Steve. It's fine. I don't need to worry about my son building an Iron Man later. I'll build an Iron Man now, and we'll call it something different. Like, is there precedent for that, or am I confused?
That also threw me off a little bit, but I think it is within the realm of possibility with Steve having such close contact with Howard, and him being like, hey, I still want to serve my country, but they're not going to let me do it the way that I was supposed to. And so he's just like, oh, well, I could just build you a big-ass suit.
But why didn't he do that then for the Madam Carter in the OG First Avenger?
Well, because she was going to serve, like, she was, like, fully capable.
Yeah, I guess
like,
so.
she wasn't as helpless as Skinny Steve.
That's true. Listen, I mean, I'm nitpicking about a flying robot man, so take that as you will.
Yeah, another thing like that I nitpick a little bit was Red Skull's motivation, because he went from like wanting to bomb the U.S. and all the major cities to opening a portal.
I mean,
And
he's a
how
Nazi.
do you make that jump?
Nazis like portals. That is for sure the one thing we know about Nazis.
Yeah. Well, with I think what kind of irritated me with that is the way that they focus so much on this one moment changed the course of history forever. But no, they changed a lot. Like, not only did Captain Carter stay down in the area with Steve, Red Skull's whole motivations changed too. Instead of like wanting this ultimate power, he was trying to open a portal to the Hydra champion.
I mean, the only thing that I could say is, like, since it didn't have a lot, like, it was the Reader's Digest version of the movie, just of Captain Carter, is like, because she, again, unless I'm mistaken, she didn't go on the same, like, hey, we got this dork and he's Captain America tour and we're just going to make him sing and dance. Like, she didn't do any of that, right? Like, she just immediately went into, like, let's go kill us some Nazis.
Yeah, pretty much. Which makes sense for her character, because that's like just something that she was already on track to do.
So I say maybe Red Skull's plan was like put on the fast track, because like they were not flaunting the fact that they had this super soldier and sending him all over and making him do all these things, and I don't know. Whatever. I'm making excuses for just a good thing I saw.
Yeah. Dude, and I know you guys haven't seen episode 2 yet, but if people are throwing fits over that kind of stuff from episode 1, there's no way that there's some things in episode 2 where you're just like, you have to suspend a lot of disbelief for. And I want you both to message me when you figure out what it is.
By the way, I already know kind of not what it is, but like I know I know the conceit of that episode because I watched the trailers for it, or for the whole series. But again, if you're not already suspending your disbelief for a lightning god, an arrow man, a freaking guy, a different Batman, and all these people coming together and fighting, space dimensional creatures, then all right, cool. I mean, I guess be like, Black Panther, he wore sneakers that Velcroed, and I didn't like them. Somebody said, "What are those?" And I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah,
kind of going off what DJ is going off with. One thing that this is like the only nitpick I have, and it's like a stupid ass nitpick. It's more of a funny one. So when Captain Carter like crosses through the portal, and she's in front of spoiler alert, guys. Nick Fury and Clint Barton. So is that supposed to be like the exact scene played out when Loki came through?
That's a
Avengers?
Good question.
Because
that's a really good question.
Because if it is, and like I said, this is a stupid thing to nitpick, Hawkeye is wearing the wrong costume, because he's wearing the costume that he wore when they after he's been taken over by Loki and he invades the helicarrier. In that scene, if we're talking about that, he's wearing like his like shield jacket and like cargo pants, and I know it's stupid shit to nitpick, but I don't know why.
No, I don't think that's I don't believe that that's the Loki scene.
Okay.
I think that it's maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. just doing a test run on whatever their equipment is, because that's what they were planning on doing anyway. Like, Selvig was trying to open a portal.
Because that was going to be my question. If like Fury and Clint are there, if it's the scene that I'm thinking about, Selvig should be there as well.
Right, and he could have been in the background for all we know.
I mean, true, but okay, I take back my nitpick because Caleb's probably right. It wasn't the whole Loki scene, so I take back my stupid nitpick.
Well, by the way,
I think it was just a test.
It could have.
Okay.
Listen, if we're going full what if, I mean, clearly, we saw how drastically everything changed right away when she got in there and got the super serum. So who's to say that everything else from the point that she vanished up until what we know of the Avengers happened exactly the same way? Because, I mean, clearly Steve Rogers lived and died. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who says that he made it? Like, I don't know. Like, I would imagine, like, that's what's interesting. That's what is, again, what's interesting is going to be interesting, I think, about all of these episodes is that you're going to have, like, a million questions. Like, okay, well, we know what happened while Steve was frozen because we saw that timeline, but what happened while Captain Carter was away, taking her light sabbatical in another dimension?
Yeah. Some people were saying that she was in the quantum realm or could have been in the quantum realm. So that's why time affected her a little differently.
I mean, listen, whatever the reason is, fine. I accept it.
Dude, the only other note that I had on that episode, was it just me, or was she way more brutal with that shield than Steve has ever been?
Dude?
Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
but I think you could probably say is like, you know, what you can do in animation is definitely a lot different than what you can do in live action.
Yes.
So they definitely had a lot more room to play with.
Yeah,
dude, she was straight up like giving those guys permanent brain damage.
She was doing Civil War level, like when Bucky and Captain America were going on Iron Man. Like, she was doing that immediately, where I feel like they did not have the technology during the first Avenger to do that, or even the forethought to do that. It'd be like, oh, you could, I don't know. Just, by the way, here's the real funny thing, is if she had been left without getting zapped into another dimension, we assume that she was good. But, like, who's to say that she wasn't going to be, I don't know, punching someone in half with that shield, U.S. agent style, in another year or two?
Yeah, that shit was just wild. And it was so immediate, too. I'm just like, oh.
What if episode?
Yeah, like, my justification for that was that Steve was still getting used to his strength and kind of knowing, because he had, like, no formal training, no anything. Like, he had to learn all this stuff, so I think it's just something that he, like, gradually picked up, and then we get how he is with his shield, like, later on. Because I felt like the most brutal he's ever been with his shield was the opening scene from Winter Soldier. And then true. She just stepped it up like 5 knots.
Yeah, she definitely took it up to 11 immediately and was like I felt like there should have been some, like, what's that? What's Ozzy Osbourne's band from back in the day? There should have been some of that. Or not that, Led Zeppelin song. I don't know the name of it. I'm so sorry. There should have been Led Zeppelin playing in the background. That's all I'm saying.
The Immigrant Song?
Yes.
I would not have been opposed to that.
Oh my gosh, that would have been wild. But yeah, I'm loving the series so far. I love this what if scenario.
All this
and
what
I'm
if
interested
jazz.
to see how they. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes on more down the line, because I loved the T'Challa episode.
How many episodes is it supposed to be? Do you know?
9.
I like that. You know what? This is one of the few that I wish there were more already. No, that can't.
Wasn't there
season 2. Yeah. So let's see. There's 9 this season, and apparently there's going to be 9 more next season.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know that it's confirmed. I just know IMDb says there's season 1 and season 2, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Ooh man, episode 5 and 6 I think are going to be great because it like if you look on IMDb, it shows you like a little snapshot of what each of these episodes is going to be about, and for some reason, episode 5 and episode 6 not showing you a picture of what's going on there. So very excited because episode 8 looks amazing. So does episode 7. No spoilies.
Spoilies. I love that.
Yeah, I'm pumped because I figured Captain Carter and T'Challa were going to be our first two, but after that, we kind of don't know. Actually, I think
the next
3 is going to be Doctor Strange.
It is not.
Oh.
The next one is not zombies. Zombies is number 8.
Is it Doctor
Oh
Strange?
damn! I didn't know it was that far.
Let me see, because it doesn't give the name of the episode yet. All right, anyone who doesn't want to know this, don't listen for the next moment. Episode 3, there's a picture of what seems to be Loki, and probably someone different playing Loki. There is a Doctor Strange. He seems to be on some kind of a rock shooting energy beams out of his hands. Do you want to know? Do you want to know these next 3? Because they're the 5 and 6. There's nothing. Episode 8 is zombies. Episode 9 is Doctor Strange again. It looks like, but episode 7 looks like got a little Spider-Man with a cape. Got a little Spider-Man with a cape on, and it looks like it's a what's his face? Doctor Strange cape.
Yeah, they had that picture of him in the poster with that cape.
I'm very
So,
excited
that
to
one-
see this.
That one's going to be really cool. Have you guys heard the theory on what how the zombie outbreak starts? And it makes sense to me.
Let me tell you something. If
Are
they
you guys
say-
interested in hearing it? If you don't, I won't say anything.
Can I just ask you, is it anything to do with Rick Grimes? Because if it does, I quit. I quit Marvel.
No, it does not.
Then yes, I want to hear it. Unless Rose does not.
No, as do I.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the theory is that the zombie outbreak happens because Captain America wasn't able to secure the biological weapon in Civil War.
I can't wait for this episode. It doesn't come out until, let's see, that episode doesn't come out until September 29th. Ugh. Too long. October 6th is when the 9th episode comes out. God, too long.
At least we'll have plenty of Marvel content to consume till then, because we got
True.
Shang-Chi coming out.
Are you guys going to go see that in theaters straight away? Or are you gonna
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
I probably have to
opening
wait because I
weekend.
work weekends.
wait? I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Like, Chris, I was talking to Chris Wutsky, and he asked me if I was going to go, and I was like, you know what? I wish that they had it on Disney Plus Premiere, because I would buy it. I would pay $40 for it. Because I don't want to go to the theater, really. Although I say that, but I really do wish I guess I still could, but I really want to see the Suicide Squad in theaters. Like that
It's
movie,
worth it.
that movie
It was
and Black
beautiful.
Widow, I feel like Black Widow, we bought the premiere or whatever, and it was fine. It was good. I liked it. I liked watching it, but that definitely felt like a movie that should have been seen in the theater.
Have
seen
you
Black Widow and XD? Oh, amazing.
have you heard mine and Rose's idea for
Dude.
recreating?
So, listen, this episode is going to be 8 hours long, but we at some point do need to talk about that because I am for sure in on our VR movie theater experience. Listen, we're going to do this.
Dude, I've already looked into it. I'm pretty sure I could, like, with the proper setup, we can make something really cool happen for under 150.
Really? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I was really thinking that, like, we were gonna start this story at $500. So I'm definitely down.
No, like, and that's going on the cheaper end of VR headsets. They said that the watching or the VR headset that I'm looking into, it was discontinued, but they still are making updates for it. But they said watching the or looking through that headset, it's basically the same as watching like a 720p. But when you get into the more expensive VR headsets that are around like 350 to 400, that's when it gets a little bit more clarity.
A
but
little
I'm like,
bit more.
Yeah, but I'm like,
I can buy a 4K television today while we're talking on Amazon for less than $350.
yeah,
true.
but it's just the recreation of the movie theater that I think is what's selling me on that. I'm like, I'm not going to that full, like, that expensive route. I'm going to try and stick with, like, try and see what I can make happen for, like I said, under that 150.
At least till you work the bugs out, you know?
Until I work, yeah, exactly. Until I work the bugs out. But there should be a way to watch whatever you want on Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, whatever streaming service, and project it like it is in a movie theater.
Listen, you tell me what I need. And you said there was going to be a way for us maybe all to like watch it together, maybe? Or no?
Yeah, exactly. If you, like, with the proper setup, you could have up to like 30 people in a theater.
I am listen, you tell me what I need. I will buy it for me and Beth, and we are in. We will be two of the participants in this theater experience.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited! This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I had in my head. I'm like, then this way you get to pick and choose, and like if, like, I freaking love it. Like, if you can pick and choose who you have in the theater, and if one of those people that you pick and choose is annoying, you can just mute them.
By the way, can I just tell you, you guys were
Probably
talking
gonna
about
be me.
talking in the theater. You are one of what I call the immediate mutes. If you talk
immediate
during the
mutes?
movie, I will go to you. The movie will still be on, and you'll be like in your VR goggles, just like ha 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 ha, and I will rip it off of your head and be like, "Stop talking!"
Yeah. Well, we don't have like full on conversations in the theater. I like if we're watching something cool happens, I'm like, bro. Like that's as much talking as that happens in the theater.
Listen, I don't know if you guys have heard the tale or if I've told it on this show before, but whenever we went to go see Endgame, the short version of the story is two drunk people decided to sit next to us. They tricked me by complimenting my shirt because it had some kind of a Marvel character on it, and I was like, they're fine drunks. And the woman immediately, I'm telling you, within 10 minutes of this movie starting, who's that? Oh my God, he killed Loki. Wait, what does that stone do? How is this going to happen? What's going to happen next? He can't kill that guy. What's this? And I turn over to the guy who's sitting next to me, and without thinking, because the movie just started and it's 11 hours long, and I'm just like, hey, is there any way you guys could not narrate the whole movie while it's happening? And the guy looked at me drunkenly like, I should punch you in the face. And all I could think was, I'm going to get punched in the face. And he was like, ugh. And then he like whispers to his girlfriend, and they didn't say one more word the entire movie, and I got to enjoy it. I was very glad. But that's who I am in a movie, is I'm the guy that'll turn around and be like, hey, shut your popcorn hole before I shut it for you.
Dude,
I
I freaking
apologize for the
hate-
way
Yeah, I don't have the
Like-
guts to do that.
dude, it's so hit and miss with movie theaters for me. Because, like, I'll go see a movie that I'm just kind of like, about, and, like, have a really good experience, but then the movies I'm, like, super excited for, like, someone will freaking do something to ruin it. Like, I had some chick take off her shoes in, I forget what movie it was, but not really important. Yeah, she took her shoes off like next to me and like propped him up on the chair in front of her. I'm like, I will kill you.
So, are you guys... So, okay, I'll say this. I talk a lot of smack about the sequel trilogy, but I saw each one of those movies twice in theaters when they came out. And when I saw The Force Awakens, I think it was... Wait, which one did Han Solo die? It was The Force Awakens or The Return of the Jedi? Or Return of the Jedi, the Last Jedi.
I was like, wait, what?
Was it The Force Awakens?
Yeah, it was The Force Awakens.
Which was the one where BB-8 took the tarp off of R2-D2 and R2-D2 was just sitting there like a big lump? Was that also The Force Awakens?
Yeah, that's the same one.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm talking about the correct movie. The first time I went and saw it, because this is the only 2 times I've ever been cool with someone being loud or saying something like in the movie theater, the girl that was sitting next to me was so super into this movie that she was, you know how people, the expression, I was on the edge of my seat. This girl took that expression and was like, yeah, I was on the literal edge of she was on the literal edge of her seat the whole time. Han Solo dies weeping, openly crying. This can't be. I was like, oh my God, all I could think of was, I love how much you love this movie, and you're helping me enjoy it more by being so invested in the fact that this dude just got brained by his own son. And the second time I saw it, it was hilarious. It was the best that it ever could have been. BB-8 pulls the tarp off of R2-D2, and there's that like one beat of a silent moment, and there's a small child that I hear on the other side of the theater go, "It's his uncle." And the whole theater died laughing, and it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
Have you guys seen the video that came out when The Force Awakens did? Of like a huge like crowd just like freaking pumped to watch it, and then someone accidentally turned on their flash recording, and they're just like, "Turn off your camera, asshole!" And that's when the freaking crawl is starting.
Oh,
really funny.
No, I thought you were going to talk about the guy that walked out and was like, "Han Solo dies," and nerds came together and beat that dude nearly to death.
No, that's effed up.
Yeah, that is. By the way, we're here now. So I was playing. It was like when one of those games like Circles IO or Blob IO or something came out for. It was like a phone game, and I'm playing it. It's the day before I'm gonna go see The Force Awakens, and I'm just like doobie doop doop. I love playing games on my phone. Somebody's name. So it's one of those like big like multiplayer deals where like everyone can come in and they make their own name and you try and fight each other or whatever. The dude's name that killed me was Han Solo dies in The Force Awakens. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Okay, so cut to The Last Jedi shows up. Again, day before we're going to see the movie. I'm not going to say who, out of respect. But, because even though they don't listen to this podcast, I have some real choice words for this individual. So if they ever hear it, know that my hatred for you in this respect runs as deep as the wells of my heart can run. We're literally about to go see this movie, and he's like, "Dude, I could not believe that Luke died." And I was like, "Hey, bro. Hey. Hey, you. What?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I couldn't believe it." And I was like, I literally had to turn around and walk away because I wanted to strangle their neck until their head popped off.
Oh my gosh, that's rough.
And that was worse than the guy in Endgame. And his wife or girlfriend drunkenly narrating what was happening in the first 10 minutes.
Dude, I forget. I've been super lucky when it comes to spoilers. Because, so I thought I've had a couple, I thought I had a spoiler for Infinity War, and I thought that I got something spoiled in for Black Widow. Both of them turned out to be wrong.
Can I tell you the same thing for Infinity War? I think it was Infinity War. I thought I had something spoiled, and it was not, and I was super glad about it because I was bummed. I was legitimately bummed. I was like, I can't believe, because that was the thing about the Star Wars movies too. Because I'm sure you guys are the same way. I went radio silent on social media. Like, I wasn't looking at anything. I wasn't going to accidentally get spoiled. I even knew not to look at my YouTube subscription feed because there was all these like, I can't believe Captain America was old and said, I don't think I will. So nothing. And yeah, when I thought I got one anyway, I was so upset. And it didn't turn out to be true, and I was happy. Unlike Star Wars, I hate you all.
Yeah, Star Wars fans are the worst. Marvel fans are just stupid and post wrong stuff.
I mean, post wrong stuff all you want. So if I accidentally see that in the mix of something that might be real, then I just don't know. Like, I would much rather that than just like, bro, Han Solo dies and his kid does it. Isn't that crazy? His real name's Ben, by the way. Anyway, bye.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
So the spoiler I got for Black Widow, I got way back in April.
Did you talk about it on the show?
Damn.
Did it have to do with Taskmaster?
Yes. So someone posted and said, "Oh, identity of Taskmaster revealed to be former love interest of Natasha Romanoff," and I'm like, like, come on, like, freaking assholes. And then I was scrolled down a little bit more, and then they're like, end credit scene, Hawkeye visits Natasha's grave, and I'm like, shit. And so when I was watching it, I was watching it, and I was a little bit better, and I'm just like, obviously, like, this dude that is supplying Natasha with all the stuff is Taskmaster. Didn't end up being him, and I'm just like, oh, awesome. And then, like, the end credits scene, I'm just like, we're going to see Hawkeye visiting Nat's grave, with his daughter, and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't. And I'm like, yes! Like, this is great!
No, it's Hawkeye getting a death wish. Even better.
I mean, we still got to see him.
Yeah, like a grungy photo when he's in his Ronin outfit. That's not even actual,
True.
physical photo. It's just, on a tablet.
Yeah. But all that to say, I'm so excited to try and recreate this theater experience where it's as customizable as you can possibly make it. Like, because they had, the program that I found, you can have different settings. So you can have, a theater setting, like a classic movie theater setting. You can have one, a setting where it's, in a home or out in the woods if you wanted to watch a scary movie. And I love
no thank you.
stuff.
I can already say no thank you to in the woods watching scary movies, even if it is on a VR headset. Nope. I'm good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Or they have one that's on a spaceship if you want to watch a Star Wars or Star Trek or just some movie.
Now, I would watch Jason X, Jason Goes to Space on that starship.
Yes. Hell yes.
By the way, Jason X, very underrated Jason movie. Very, I have to believe that movie was intentionally done that terrible. There is no way that was an accident.
Yeah,
Considering
but it's just all these different customizations.
Yeah. Sorry.
But it's all these customizable features that you can have, and if someone is bothering you, you can just mute them, or if they're trying to get in your face and distract you, you can turn them invisible if you want. I love that. I absolutely love that.
By the way, this is how I know I'm an old man already, is as you were saying that, I was like, why would anybody be up and moving around? We're watching a movie.
Yeah, true, but VR people.
But someone
would.
would.
Look at me! Look what I can do!
Look,
because
my
one of the
avatar's the polka
features
dot man.
One of the features of this app, you have a remote to control your hands, and you can put stuff in your hands like popcorn to throw, or you can like throw drinks, or have like a phone that shines like a super bright light.
It's like they hate us. It's like the people that are making this hate the people that are buying it. They're like,
Yeah.
hey,
I
man.
finally get to live out my movie theater fantasy.
Well, that's just it. That the program that I'm talking about is free.
You know what's funny is, we were talking about like confronting people in a movie theater. Beth, she is the opposite of me when it comes to that. Like, she is very not a confrontational person at all. So, which made it all the more tasty when there was some dude, I can't remember what movie we were watching, that he kept picking up his phone. And Beth, in the most uncharacteristic move that I've seen in a long time, was like, loud enough for all of us to hear it. That's very distracting, right? Like, while the movie's going on and the guy's like, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, did that, apologize to her again after the movie. I was like, I am so proud right now. I think the wrong parts of me are rubbing off on you. You should not be confrontational with strangers. I need to stop this.
Okay, I have a story about that. Checking a phone.
It was you, wasn't it?
Nope, it was my wife.
Knew it.
So it was during A Quiet Place.
Of course it was.
Yeah, so we went through the whole movie without incident. Like the entire movie. But it was like the last 5 minutes of the movie. My mom started calling me. And so, like, it was just vibrating in my pocket. And so my vibrate is kind of loud, but I was able to, like, mute it really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made it quiet and everything. And then my mom started calling my wife, and she called 3 times. And my mom does not call us, like, does not call that frequently, ever. And so my wife thought that it was something important and thought she got a text. So she, like, pulled her phone out of her pocket, held it really close to her chest, and, like, opened it just to see who it was. And, like, she told me it was my mom after, but she's just, like, holds it really close, checks for a second, and then puts it back in her pocket. Doesn't say anything. That's all she does. Pulls out her phone, and it's already at its lowest brightness setting, checks, and then puts it back in her pocket. The lady next to us, you would have thought that we took a flashlight and was shining it directly into her face. The way that she was going off.
Wait,
Like,
when you say going off, because I gotta tell you, I would be the one that would contemplate snatching the phone out of her hand and just throwing it like a discus to the front and be like, go take your call now.
Like, my wife didn't take the call. Like, it was on mute, and so she was just, like, trying to see if who it was, because, like, it was just call. And, like my wife tried to silence it in her pocket. Like, bzz, bzz, mute it. Bzz, bzz, mute it. And then, like, another one, she's just like, okay, I need to check real fast, because her mom has some, like, medical issues, so she just wanted to make sure it wasn't her mom. And so she, like, checked, like, real quick, like, no joke, like, up against her chest, check, immediately in her pocket.
So I have to know 2 things. I have to know what this lady said to your wife, and then I've got to know who exactly shook off their mortal coil so that your mom had to call at least 4 times.
Yeah, my mom just wanted to call to see what we were doing. And I'm like, are you shitting me?
Checks out.
You called it. I'm like, you called me twice. You called my wife 3 times. Like, someone better be dead.
Like that scene, yeah.
And then
I see, like, Caleb being like in Strike the Third, someone better be dying.
By the way, can I just tell you,
so,
that right there is why I turn my phone all the way off when I go into a movie theater. So I'm not even tempted. Like, hey, man, I'm not going to be able to help anyway. So if everybody died, oh, well, I got to see a cool movie before I knew how bad everything was.
Got to see Endgame. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah, I usually put mine on, like, mute without the vibrate. That way it's just, out of sight, out of mind. But I just happened to forget that time. Same with my wife. Like, my wife will keep it on vibrate just because of her mom.
See, no, that makes sense. Okay, like that at least makes sense. Your mom. What is going on with your parents, Caleb?
Yeah. But so the lady, she, like, after the movie had ended, like, credits and everything, and everyone started, like, talking again. Like, my wife and I were, like, started packing up, and the lady, like, leaned over and she was like, she went off on us, just like, that was very distracting. If you needed to take a call, you should have gone out into the hallway, or blah 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 blah. And my wife was just super embarrassed, and she apologized. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wouldn't have pulled it out if I didn't think it was an emergency. And she's like, well, if it's an emergency, you should go out in the hall. And she's like, I was checking to make sure it wasn't an emergency.
I wish your wife in that moment would have been like, it's a second 9/11. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. And so I was like, and I don't say shit to anyone. So I let my wife apologize. I'm like, because I didn't pull my phone out.
Damn, Caleb.
I love that. You're like, and there's the bus. Yoink. Goodbye, wife. I love you.
Yeah, but she just, like, we apologized. We were trying to be, like, super nice and friendly about it. And, like, it just got to the lady was just, like, harassing us. Like, well, like, you just ruined the entire movie for us. I'm like, it was the last 5 minutes. And, like, that's when I, like, finally spoke up. I'm like, it was the last 5 minutes. The conclusion had already happened. Like, it was just, like, the stuff to tie up the movie. It wasn't anything, like, insane that you missed. And she's like, well, like, I feel like you just ruined the entire movie. I'm like, then go see it again. Like, if we ruined the entire thing or distracted you from watching the last 5 minutes. And I'm like, she's just like, oh, so you're going to pay for it? I'm like, no. I'm not going to go pay for it. Like, I'm not going to pay for you because you have the attention span of a toddler.
Again, if this was the movie version of this, your wife would have been like, oh my God, it's another 9/11. And then when she was like, are you going to pay for it? You would be like, yeah, you know what? I am. And you would have a pocket full of change and you would just throw it right at her face. Like, here you go.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so we got up and we were walking down and she, like, threw out another comment at my wife, just like so rude and just talking about, like, millennials. And I turned and I'm like, lady, you need to chill.
A millennial is about to push you over a seat. Okay? Have you ever,
Yeah.
do you know what the hard part of the floor feels like? Because your forehead's about to. Why don't you relax and let us go on about our business? We just saw The Quiet Place starring John Cranston? Who else is in that? What is his name? Krasinski? What is his name?
Krasinski.
And who's the
But
lady?
yeah,
in it?
I freaking, like, laid into this lady, and like with her husband, like, right next to her, and I'm like, lady, we apologized, but she pulled her phone out for, like, a second. I'm like, you were the one that got distracted by a shiny object and let it bother you.
Hey, listen. This lady was out of line, but let's not gloss over the fact that you pulled out a phone in the middle of a movie theater.
I know, I'm not saying my wife was right, but we apologized for it.
Okay, yeah, and that's it. Because, by the way, she deserved to get that uppity about it if your wife had been like... The real move would have been like, that was very distracting, and she just turns on the flashlight and puts it right in her face. Like, oh, was it? See, that would have elicited that kind of a response. But, seeing someone want to throw themselves into a volcano because they've just made a terrible error, like, you did it. They feel terrible. We're done here.
Yeah, and I usually like to sit through the credits, and my wife's like, let's go. Like, we need to get out of here now. And I was like, okay. So we packed up, got ready, and yeah, she just, like, was harassing us, so I turned back to her, and I never, like, approached or talked to someone like this and just like laid into her. I'm like, you have the attention span of a toddler. If you let a little bit of light distract you, we apologized for it. Like, let it go. And if it ruined the movie for you that much, just go see it again. And I'm like, what do you want us to do?
Again, the movie version of this was after you said that and started to walk away, everyone stood up and started clapping. They're like, yeah, shut up, lady. You're stupid. Nobody likes you and you smell bad. You should give them another movie ticket for having to sit next to you. You stink.
Yeah. And I told, like, while we were leaving too, I turned and I was like,
you slashed her tires.
I'm like, like I have to go.
Damn.
Like I have to go to work tomorrow. Like you can probably get one of the nurses to come bring you back if you want. And yeah, it was just.
I like Mean Caleb.
Dude, Mean Caleb doesn't come out very often, but he is.
He does not.
He's not very nice.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
He is.
So you've met. So
I
you've
don't even
met
think
Mean
I've
Caleb.
seen Mean Caleb fully. At least I don't think I've done anything to piss him off that much.
No, dude, I'm the type of person that will let all of my anger just like sit for a while and then just unload it on some poor unfortunate soul that does wrong by me.
By the way, what he's saying, Rose, is his poor wife.
No, it's not usually my wife. It's always like someone just kind of inconvenienced me. It's like when I'm like at the boiling point. Like, dude, there was a point where I had little envelopes with an apology note and like $5 in it.
To your wife?
No,
Oh.
so I could give it to give it to people because I would know in the moment that I was wrong for yelling at this person and that they didn't deserve it. So, like, I was at McDonald's one time, and someone was like, someone messed up my order, and I unloaded on this guy, like, let everything that was bothering me out. And, like, it was, like, all the anger I've been building up at work, working with my dad. I'm just, like, everything has to be freaking perfect with you. I'm not fast. We know that, like, just unloading on this poor minimum wage making dude. And like in the middle of this, I like lean over, open my glove compartment, pull out an envelope, hand it to him, and he like opens it and reads it, and it's like an apology, like, this is not about you. This is about what's going on in my life, and I am apologizing that this is.
Wait, how many
That
of these
it's
did
all
you have
coming out on you.
pre-written out, sir?
I had 4.
Caleb,
What?
are you doing okay now?
I'm doing a lot
seriously,
better
though.
now. I'm doing a lot
thank
better. I have
goodness.
ways to unleash that
That is-
angst.
That is a lot of forethought for that much anger. Like, by the way, in a court of law, premeditated, they call that.
Dude, that's just how I freaking rolled. I was just like I just get so built up because I didn't have like a good outlet. Because I would just get yelled at work. I was getting like ripped on at home because I lived
by
with my
who?
boss.
By who even? Well, your
My
dad? Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because it was when I was working with my dad that I had that. Because I was getting ripped on at work, and then he would bring it home with us, and we'd just get in like big old arguments, and so I couldn't like fully release my angst. And then I would just like come out on and it wasn't happening like every week or whatever. It was happening like maybe once every 6 months.
Dude, I'm really glad you didn't turn into a murderer. Like everything you just said is the plot where we're like, and now we're in present day where he's murdering people once every 6 months. We call it the half-year killer. It's almost December. He's gonna strike again.
But like legit, that's how I rolled for a while. Just having those little notes.
My
And
God,
it was
Caleb.
it was so weird because I'd be in the middle of yelling and grab these notes and hand it to them. Like I was apologizing while I was bitching at them.
It's funny because the closest I've ever come to anything like that is Well, I'm sure. Well, okay. First, the first thing I wanted to say, I almost forgot. I would pay almost any amount of money to talk to any of those recipients of those cards today. Any amount. If you're listening to this show right now and you hit me up, untrainedipod@gmail.com, and we'll work out a price. I need to speak to you. But also, like, I'm a very thoughtless person. Like, I have to, whenever I'm dealing with people, like, at work or, like, just out, like, at a place or whatever, like, I have to start the conversation with, hey, how are you doing? Something like that to, like, engage them, to just be like, hey, I'm not trying to just steal your time and wisdom away. I'm actually going to inquire about you. And one time that I lost myself, I was at Home Depot and I was like super in a rush and I had a question about something. And I looked at a guy that was 5 feet away from me and I was like, hey, you, I got a question. Come over here. And he starts to walk over and I was like, hey, man, hold on. I was like, I am so sorry that I just said, hey, you to you. I was like, what's your name? And he told me his name and I was like, hey, Kevin, or whatever his name was. I was like, I really apologize. That was super rude. I was like, I do have some questions, but you don't have to answer them now. And he was like, no, it's cool, man. It's great. It's fine. I was like, but that I couldn't believe hey, you come here is what I said to a human. Guys, I have a feeling this might have to be a two-parter because it's almost 11 p.m. here. And I have to be up at 4:55 in the morning.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too, but we can skip right into the breakdown.
I'm so sorry because I told you before we started, I have 1, 2, 3 pages of like one sentences that I wrote down about this movie. I have a lot of feelings about the Hitman's wife's bodyguard.
Well, we can get into the breakdown real quick so you can share those.
Well, listen, this is my proposition to you, and we can cut this part out or not. What if, are you guys available tomorrow for like 30 minutes? Because I feel like this could be a 30 or 45 minute thing.
Ooh, I probably won't be.
Boo. All right, we'll do it. Let's go. Oh. I'm sorry, I yelled too loud.
You're good.
Clean feed said no.
All right, well, let's get into the headliner real quick. For this week's headliner, we will be breaking down The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And just to if you have not seen this movie, spoiler alerts ahead. If you are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually grade to come to a final all bros and untrained eye letter grade. The 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then we give it our own personal grade at the very end. So if you have not seen this movie, go check it out. And Rose is about to spoil the entire thing for you while he reads the synopsis. So, reading with Rose, everyone.
Yeah, here we go. How fast do you think I can read this without messing up?
I say 40 WPMs.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Michael Bryce prepares to retire from being a bodyguard and tries to clear his mind on vacation until Sonia Kincaid tracks him down and asks for his services. She needs his help in recovering her hitman husband Darius after mobsters kidnap him. After saving him, they are caught by Interpol agent Bobby O'Neill, who needs their help in locating a terrorist mastermind named Aristotle Papadopoulos.
That doesn't count as a reading with Rose. That dude's name was ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to give him a pass on that too.
who wants to destroy the European power grid and infrastructure since the European Union is planning to impose more sanctions on Greece. The trio gets into more trouble, with Bryce taking up much of the physical brunt of their encounters. After getting help from his bodyguard's stepfather, Bryce Sr., the trio is captured by Aristotle's henchmen. He has a history with Sonia. He was conned by her even though he genuinely fell in love with her. After turning her against Darius Kincaid, he and Bryce are forced to flee. Senior is revealed to be working with Aristotle and betrays Bryce. Bryce and Kincaid compose themselves and work together to rescue Sonia and thwart Aristotle. After killing Aristotle's henchmen, they disrupt his plan to use a power drill to break into the European power grid and fight Aristotle and Senior. Bryce kills Senior after telling Senior about his eternal loyalty and friendship with Kincaid, while Kincaid and Sonia kill Aristotle. Bryce manages to hit the manual override to destroy the ship and stop the drill, and the three manage to survive the explosion. O'Neill says that they have to stay on the boat for 48 hours together before being cleared and free, then hands Bryce papers to Stein, which he thinks is his AAA license. Bryce signs them only to find out they are adoption papers for him to be the son of Sonia and Kincaid. In the mid-credit scene, Bryce disputantly jumps off the yacht and piloting while Sonia and Darius have sex inside.
That was amazing, by the way. I told you guys at the beginning, like before we started, this movie was ripe for bloopers. I feel like it should have been bloopers. And whenever I was fast forwarding to see if there was like an after credit scene or whatever, I saw just a flash of like somebody on a boat, and I was like, bloopers. And I went back, and it was not a blooper. And even though it was funny, I was still very sad.
Nah, that's fair. I would have loved a blooper reel.
Yeah. So we ended up giving the story a 73.3.
Who was the meanest to this? Who was the meanest to this movie?
You want to take a guess?
I think it was Rosie Rose.
Yep. Me and DJ were actually equal. Rose was the one that went down to like a 60.
A 60? Wait a minute. Hold on. Am I understanding this correctly? You also did not see the first one, right? Or did you?
So I saw the first one. So I watched the second one today, and then I watched the first one yesterday. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I kind of hated the first one. I did not find it really that funny. But this one I actually did enjoy. Like, this one was actually all right. I don't know what it was, but like, yeah, the first one I was not a fan of.
So I think I wrote it down, or maybe I didn't, but I do remember, like, the first 20 minutes of this movie, I was like, okay, like, is this us just getting... Because I haven't seen the first one, like, at all. Like, I honestly forgot that movie even existed. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, within the first 20 minutes, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to enjoy any of this movie. And let me see if I can... It wasn't always so bad. One of the things I wrote down immediately: why all the eyeliner on dudes? Too many guys with eyeliner in this movie. Slow start, but picking up. I can't remember exactly what the moment was. Oh, you know when it was? It was when they met the cop. As soon as they met that cop, who I immediately decided not to learn his name and just called him Cop Face. As soon as they met
Frank
Cop...
Grillo's character?
Sure. I don't know who that guy is.
Oh,
They met Cop Face, and I was like, all right, we're getting into a movie now. And everything from Cop Face on, I was super into for the rest of that.
I agree. It did have a very slow start. Like, it had some funny bits. Like, I like the whole, like, graduating therapy bit.
Okay, the first thing I wrote, therapist. How does he not know she sucks? So, was he... You said you saw the first one. Was he, like, a bumbling idiot in the first one? Or was he supposed to be, like, a really good bodyguard?
I mean, technically, I guess he is supposed to be, like, the top bodyguard of them all, except for apparently his stepdad, according to this one. But yeah, like his like top his top client, like right when in the first one, and they lead into this in the second one, he gets shot on the plane, and so basically like it's a downward spiral for him in the first one.
Gotcha.
Because of that.
Because that was the one through line with this movie is all of these people that were supposed to be great, like him being the bodyguard, Sam Jackson being the hitman, crazy lady, Selma Hayek, like none of them seem to be able to read a room at all. And I'm like, how have they made it so far and they don't seem to know? Like, there was a point where he just like indiscriminately, Ryan Reynolds' character just indiscriminately just takes a pill that the crazy lady gives him. He's like, okay, I feel bad, and just puts it to his face. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like very good, like, discernment skills. Like,
Yeah, the first movie didn't include her as much. It was just between Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson.
You know what I
But
found
yeah, so he
interesting,
was
though?
more of the like the wild card, and it was just it was like Ryan Reynolds' character trying to keep up with him, which I think like worked a little bit better. Like, yeah, all three of these guys, all of them were just complete idiots. And I think it like
Yeah.
when they went up against that like that competent bodyguard,
by the way,
it really
was
showed.
like, I was like, who is that guy? And as soon as I found out who he was, I just wrote, it's Gorilla Arms, because it's Gorilla Arms from Umbrella Academy.
Yep, number one. Yeah, my wife, while we were watching this, she forgot that he was British.
Aren't they all?
Yeah. But yeah, I think it really showed while they were going with or doing that whole sequence and being like, oh, like they don't have a decoy, and then Ryan Reynolds is saying like, we should have had a decoy. And like no escape vehicle, like none of this stuff that they should have had, and like the bodyguard is like, these guys are idiots.
Well, that's why I say it had like a weird start, and even in that part where they were all like, I couldn't tell if they were playing dumb or if they were supposed to actually be. I don't mean playing dumb like their characters were playing dumb. Like, I don't know if they were just supposed to be dumb until they weren't, because that's kind of what it seemed like in some spots. But from that like 20-minute mark on, I feel like that was like, it was all a very good, like by the numbers, but very good action movie. Like that, you could have very easily seen this be a movie in like the mid 90s starring like Bruce Willis and taken like just a little bit more seriously. And that would have been like a Bruce Willis, what were all the movie? Dying Hard Again, Still Dying, you know? But this time it's a boat instead of a building. Dying hard.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I think it could have had a lot of things fixed about it. I think it was just the fact that all three of the main characters seemed incompetent. It was just like, it felt like a shit show from beginning to end, where no one was trying to like rein it in at all. Which I think makes it things a little bit more funny when there's like that serious guy that's trying to just like bring it all together, just like keep everyone in line. But it didn't feel like anyone was trying to keep anyone in line.
And I don't know if this would go more for like story or writing. Maybe this never mind. This is for writing. But I will say, as far as the story goes, one of the things I wrote down towards the end was, no one believes these old guys are this tough. Because there's a part where like Sam Jackson and Morgan Freeman are just straight up fighting dudes 30 years younger than them. And I'm like, hey, movie, relax. They can't do it. They're not doing it. We can see that a guy that is clearly moving spryly and is wearing a Morgan Freeman wig is trying to stop his stepson from the countdown or whatever.
Dude, that joke was hilarious.
When
whole bit about Ryan Reynolds' dad.
I wrote down heart-hate line was hilarious when Sam Jackson had said something to him and he was like, why don't you stop thinking with your heart and not, or start thinking with your heart and not with hate. Hate first, or whatever he said. I was like, that, thank you. I was like, that was my first genuine like out loud laugh at that movie.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So when they started doing that like that build up to the reveal, my wife and I were discussing like, oh, who do you think could play Ryan Reynolds' dad? not even think like I did not know anything about this movie other than that it was a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard. So I didn't know who else was in this movie other than Salma Hayek, Samuel L. Jackson, and Ryan Reynolds. I knew nothing else. And I was just like, who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? And then when Morgan Freeman appears, I lost it.
Everybody did. We're like, what?
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of like good surprise roles in this movie, because I thought Morgan Freeman did great, but I actually really liked. Is there a character section? Am I like skipping to the wrong part of this? Character development. No, this is for story. Antonio Banderas' character, I liked a lot. First of all, that guy clearly was just collecting a paycheck because like he barely had any acting to do in that whole movie. But he acted the hell out of every acting he acted. He was like, guess what? I'm wearing the dumbest wig ever, and I am dripping with acting right now. I'm Antonio Banderas.
Dude, he does not slouch on anything that he does. Like, he brings his A game to everything.
What I wrote down was, is Antonio Banderas ever not good?
No, he is good in everything.
He's even great in Spy Kids.
No joke! That's what is so jarring about his character in Spy Kids, is that he is out-acting everyone. And it feels so out of place. It feels so over the top, but I'm like, actually, that's some of the best acting in this movie.
Everybody else needs to get up to his level.
Here's, by the way, here's a story thing I had, because you watched the first one. Is Copface, is he from the first movie?
No.
So he's just the guy that we're supposed to make a lot of wild assumptions about then. Because they were very adamant that, like, for some unknown reason, this Brooklyn cop is in Europe, and he's trying to get back to Brooklyn for some reason. He can't go back until he gets transferred back, but he just seems like a beat cop. That part I didn't understand about his character at all.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
I expected him to be
who was he working for? Was he Interpol or was he like CIA?
I thought he was just a cop.
Yeah, he kind of had like that personality, but I'm fairly certain he wasn't like just a cop.
I thought it was so weird that they were just like, there were a couple things that they just kept making references to, and I feel like this is more writing than story, but like, they made, with him specifically, like 2 or 3 times in that movie, they were like, they made him say, like, if I do this, can I go back to Brooklyn? And they're like, yeah, if you do this, you can go back to Brooklyn. Like, bro, move back to Brooklyn. Will you work for the MI6 over there? Why you have to stay here?
Yeah. So, I think, after discussing it, I think 73 is a pretty fair score for it. For the story overall, because it...
Well, but okay, fine. I want to say, like, the tracker heist, when they were with the tracker heist, that's when they were getting that, am I remembering this correctly? When they were getting damn it, it's all escaping me. I really thought I wrote down enough. When I wrote down these sentences, like, the tracker heist, I thought I would know where to go from there. But I think that was where she had the bracelet on, and they ended up having to fight with the money or whatever when she like freaks out, and she's supposed to be British, and then he's like, "But you're so old," and she just starts losing it and just yelling at them in Spanish, and he's like, "Ryan Reynolds, you sound very Mexican right now."
Oh my gosh. Dude, I loved when his old client came to approach him and he just like immediately grabs his arm and he's like, shut up, and like flips him over.
There were things I did not see. I knew we're going to get paid off, and I didn't expect them to get paid off like they did. Like, whenever he just indiscriminately took a drug from this woman and just put it in his mouth, and then like, you knew that was going to pay off somehow. And I did not expect it to pay off like it did, because I was like, wow, he is really good at driving. Like, he just like hotwired this car and is driving it. And then the next thing you know, like, nope, he is just freaking passed out. They're like, oh my God, are we going to get out of here? And then it's just a terrible chase. They're just doing so badly. I don't know. I thought that was good. I thought things like, I mean, I won't give it away right away, but like, as soon, even though they beat you to death with it, the moment he was like, a penknife is the last thing anyone would ever expect, I was like, oh, we'll be seeing that penknife later on in this movie for sure. By the way, can I just ask you both this? What you saw him use as a penknife, is that what you call a penknife? Because I call that a Swiss Army knife. What he was using. That
is definitely a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, that was not a penknife. Since when is a pen that bulky in the handle?
Yeah, I did think that was very strange.
I liked the penknife was something that you kind of forget about throughout the movie. Like, even though they, at least for me, maybe it's just because my memory's garbage, but anytime that they brought up the penknife, I was just like, oh, that's going to come into play later. But then I'd forget about it. And then, like, when he said, oh, like, with that final scene, like, saying, like, oh, like, no one ever expects the penknife. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, because when it finally came to fruition, I was like, oh, what's he gonna do with it? And then the camera pans over, and you're like, oopsie daisy, killed his own stepdad.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go a different route with that. Like, I thought it was going to be like he pulls it out and like throws it or something. I wasn't expecting it to just be in his neck already.
Yeah, I wrote, by the way, clearly the penknife will be a thing.
Dude, I love how they explained his backstory and his obsession with seatbelts.
Yes, and by the way, I wrote, during that chase, I wrote, how is Ryan Reynolds not super dead? Because he was just in the back of that van, and they're going down the stairs and taking crazy turns, and you just hear the stuff and see the stuff, gang, 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 just all in the back of this van, and then he's just, a shovel falls on his head, and they're like, it's okay.
Dude, I loved how through that whole scene, like, they didn't acknowledge that he was back there. Like, they just, like, threw him back there, and he, like, had a couple, like, weird flipping moments or, like, flying around, and then they just completely ignored him.
Well, that was their move, right? Because the first time when he got when she hit him with the car, like, that was the thing. All of a sudden, like, the next scene is, like, you just see a montage of Selma Hayek and Sam Jackson just, like, going shopping and doing whatever and having fun, and then you're like, okay, what did they do with Ryan Reynolds? And then all of a sudden he's banging on the trunk like, hey, let me out.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think 73 was a good score. Talking that out with it, I think the pacing of the movie was really good. Definitely had a slow start, and I think it was like right before the conclusion got a little bit slow too. Like,
I thought, well, let me tell you. Can I tell you my biggest pet peeve with this whole movie? Because I never get this option, because I don't watch movies that have this in it very often anymore. But as soon as they drilled into that data thing and said, they said 6 minutes until whatever, I paused the movie right then, and I set a timer for 6 minutes, and I pressed them both at the same time, and that explosion happened 50 seconds before the 6 minute mark. So, movie,
I've always wanted to do that. Always wanted to do that for a movie, but I've never done it. So kudos to you for finally doing it. That's awesome.
Dude, I do something like that whenever someone's supposed to be underwater. I'll hold my breath.
Yeah, for sure. They're like, we can somehow, I've never practiced before, but I can hold my breath for 15 minutes.
Yeah, like that's what I did when they threw Ryan Reynolds' character in the water after they thought he was dead.
Oh my God. And how about at the very beginning when they were like, she was like trying to break him out of that, his vacation. and they crashed on the Vespa, which, by the way, that was an amazing crash. That was a great opening, like, chase scene thing where, like, she's driving the Vespa and then he is, because he's not going to shoot anymore. And they crash it and they run to the edge and he's like, I can't jump. And, like, you know what's going to happen. Of course, she's crazy, so she's going to jump off. They jump off. They're in the water. The guys are fruitlessly shooting at them. I'm like, really, guys? I appreciate the effort, but come on. The thing that I was like, all right, movie, relax. Like, they already got away. Is they're like, we're going to swim up underneath this little plateau, and there's like a little secret hidden cave. Like, lady, movie. Like, what do you think we think this is? Is it the edge of every cliff in Tuscany just a little cave up underneath the... No.
Yeah, that's when my wife walked in and, like, sat down to watch it with me. She walked in, saw, like, the chase scene, saw them jump off the cliff, and then saw the cave, and she's like, well, that was convenient.
Yeah, and by the way, always, here's the thing that bothers me about stuff like that, and if you had, like, a set and setting thing, I would have had a real bone to pick with this part, is how well lit it was in there. It should have been pitch black.
Yeah. Well, with caves like that, they do have, like, that reflection of the sun kind of angling and stuff.
I don't
trying to
believe it.
justify it. Just try.
I don't believe it. Until I jump off that cliff edge and swim up underneath there and I can see perfectly. I'm not only lit from the bottom of, like, because I get that, but they are also, you can see that their faces are lit.
Yeah.
DJ, there's your next vacation.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go to the Maldives.
Just go to that filming spot and let us know if
I'll strap a GoPro to my forehead and just jump off the edge. Like, I did this for the Albros.
Yeah. Just don't tell Beth about it. Just jump off.
She'll be like, "Oh,
like,
wow!"
take
DJ's
her to this thing. Like,
committing
oh, look,
suicide
we're
in
gonna
front of me.
like, look, we're gonna see this, like, this bell tower, or whatever the hell that was, and then just, oh, did you see this? And then jump. Moving on over to writing. We ended up giving writing a 76.
Rose, what is the matter with you? I know you gave this the FU button too. This one I'm going to fight you on. Go ahead. What was your rating?
He gave it a 62.
A 60? Get out. You're no longer welcome here. I am now the second all bro, or the first all bro. I don't know how you guys do this. I am the new all bro. You are fired.
You'd be the second. I'm sorry. No matter what Caleb says, he's the first.
All right, you need to explain. All right, wait. First, Caleb, what did you rate it? What did I rate it?
You ended up giving 60. It an 85. I went a little bit lower. I was at an 81. Like, I thought it was good. The humor was pretty spot on for a majority of the
One of the first things I wrote down, Copface making fun of Lucky Charms is hilarious. The fact that he kept calling that Irish lady like something, like he was calling her Lucky Charms, he was calling her like haggis or whatever he was doing. I was like, I like this guy and this dynamic a lot. Ryan Reynolds just like being Ryan Reynolds. I'm sure none of those were actually written. He was just like, I just say things because I'm Ryan Reynolds. Go ahead. Listen. Why? Tell me, Rose, why? Because by the way, one of the greatest lines you may have missed was in this movie, but I need to know why you think the writing was a 62.
I didn't laugh as much as I thought I was going to. I mean, it was funny. Like, now thinking about it, I probably was like a little harsh. I'd probably like bump it up to like a 65.
I thought you were going to say 63.
Maybe a 70.
And that was hilarious.
But shit, I don't really know how to justify my score.
Listen, I'm going to help you unjustify what you did, because you've done something terrible to us today. There was a point at the very end when your boy Sam Jackson, they were trying to escape Antonio Banderas's castle, and he grabs a mace, and he's like, I guess a mace will do, and kind of like sideways looks at the camera, and I'm like, I wrote down, I'm like, Mace Windu? Come on. If that's not a direct reference to Mace Windu, there is no reason for him to pick up a mace and say mace will do. Like, it's clearly a reference to his purple lightsaber.
Great.
And let me tell you, the greatest part of this movie, the greatest bit of writing, there were so many callbacks. We had the penknife, we had other stuff that doesn't matter, because Gary and Johan, the fact that they were Suicide Squad A, that went and tried to make the deal behind the back, and they just exploded in a fiery death of amazement. I love. By the way, I wrote down. What did I write down? Immediately like Gary and Johan, and then as I was done writing that, I looked up, saw that they exploded and died, and wrote, Captain Boomerang Squad, LOL. But the greatest bit of writing happened, you might not have even seen this, at the very, very, very end. They did have an after credits scene. Did either of you see it?
Yes.
It said, in loving memory to Gary and Johan. And it had the picture of their characters there. And that movie got so many more points in my heart for that. Like, my personal score is definitely going to reflect that after credit scene.
So
I even wrote down in all capital letters, Gary and Johan, !
Honestly, my writing score was like started off way lower than an 81, but like I don't disagree with your score, Rose.
Okay.
Mostly because, so the reason that I boosted it up is because I chose to embrace like the comedy that they did have, but I just felt like they used the F word as a crutch to make things funny.
I mean, if you put Sam Jackson in a movie, you're gonna have the F word in it a lot, no matter what. I feel.
I get that. Like, I absolutely get that. But it's just like the excessive use of it doesn't make it feel as special.
I mean, I'll fully admit, when Salma Hayek used it, it was actually funny. But I've just heard Sam Jackson say it so many effing times, I almost said it there, over the years, that it's just like kind of becomes stale when it comes out of his mouth. But like if it comes out of Reynolds' mouth, or especially Hayek's mouth, it's actually funny in this movie. But with Sam Jackson, it's just like stale.
I will say, before the 20-minute pickup, whenever she had broken him out and was explaining to him like all the different ways and positions, and I tried to have sex, and it was no babies and this and that. Like, it went on for so long that I just wrote down the single word, uncomfortable.
That's
like,
fair.
Enough. Thank you. We get it. You're barren.
You can only hear Salma Hayek talk about her pussy for so long.
But in such a way that I was just like, this is not what I signed up for in this movie. No one's bodyguarding right now. No one's hitmanning right now. What are we doing? Was this some kind of...
No one's wifing right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess she kind of was wifing, so that was my
true,
bad.
True.
I apologize.
I think one of my favorite jokes throughout this movie was the I'm on sabbatical.
I'm on sabbatical.
Anytime someone would question why he wasn't using a gun, or when he pepper sprays that dude, and then Sam Jackson shoots the dude in the head, and he's just like, "Is that pepper spray?" He's like, "I'm on sabbatical."
I don't know if this would be story or writing or something even else different than that. But one thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was all the chase scenes, like even the imagined chase scene where he was all lithiumed up. Like, I thought all the, like, what was it? What was the song that they use? Simply the Best. Whenever they were playing Simply the Best, whenever you didn't know that he was all drugged up and he just like made his perfect left turn and the gorilla arms was behind him, like, wow, this guy's an amazing driver, actually. That was great. All the music with the chases went great. All the chases looked amazing, I think, and sounded good. And I thought all the fights, even though like a lot of the fights, I would say all of the fights were forced for the most part. All of the fights were really good. Like I don't know. Would that be story or effects? Would you call that? Have I jumped the gun?
I would put that in effects because I like to include like anything practical or like special effects, like all of that in together. And I think Cars I group into like practical effects.
All right, I jumped the gun. I apologize.
No, you're good. We have no like true format. But yeah, so 76 for writing. Moving on over to acting, we ended up giving this an 82.3.
See, I can more agree with this. Whatever you guys picked, this time I don't have a problem with it.
So the three roles that we had was Ryan Reynolds, who played
Bryce.
What was his first name?
Mitchell?
Bryce?
Maxim?
Michael
Mitchell?
Bryce.
Michael Bryce.
Michael Bryce. Yeah, Michael Bryce. Samuel L. Jackson, who played Darius.
The first. Yep.
Kincaid.
Kincaid.
Then Salma Hayek, who played his wife.
Sonia Kincaid.
Dude, honestly,
Sonia
like
Kincaid,
I think,
by the way.
like if you had to put like in order who you thought like best to worst.
Best to worst?
Yeah, I think my order would surprise you guys.
I want to hear
probably too.
Then I want to hear your guys' orders because I didn't think of it in this context until just now. So I want to hear what your guys' opinions are of who is best to worst.
All right, Rose.
Ryan Reynolds, number 1. Salma Hayek, number 2, and then Sam Jackson, number 3. Honestly, thinking story-wise, I would have actually been okay if Sam Jackson was just like a captive the whole movie and we only saw him like glimpses and it was just Salma Hayek and Ryan Reynolds the whole movie because I actually loved just these two together. I wanted to see just more of these two actually.
Well, and I think that is one thing why I think too, part of the reason why I think the writing should have gotten a better score is because the movie seemed to know that, because there was a point where it was like it not only gave them more time together, like he got to tell his crazy gelato mom dying story, and then she got to tell her my mom died of being eaten by a shark in front of me story, which all culminated into, her wanting to adopt him at the end. Like the movie knew that, like, you know what I mean? Like it was aware of itself and like what some of the good things were about it. So I still disagree with writing, but go ahead.
Yeah, my top 3 is actually different than yours, Rose. Mine's Salma Hayek as number 1, then Ryan Reynolds, then Samuel Jackson. I think her performance as playing just this crazy Hispanic woman was just absolute perfection.
It was exactly as over the top as it was supposed to be.
Exactly. Exactly. She nailed it. I freaking love Salma Hayek. Like, first off. And just the fact that someone made fun of her age, like, that offended me. I'm like, no, Salma Hayek is gorgeous.
This is true.
I honestly I don't know how I would rank them. I think I also would probably put Salma Hayek first, just because, listen, I know she's a good actress, but I truly didn't expect. I mean, this was a sequel to a movie that I barely knew existed, so I really expected absolutely nothing from anybody. Like, I really thought this was going to be a paycheck movie, and I think for a lot of other actors in this movie, Morgan Freeman, it was a paycheck movie. But I really underestimated, and it makes me sad to know that you didn't like the first one. I really underestimated how much I was going to like Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson playing off each other. Like, I really liked those two together a lot. So I don't know how I would rank them. Like, Selma Hayek would be first, and then those two as just a pair I would put as a 2, because I don't know how to... I don't know. I was surprised with all of it. Because, like I said, this movie, I not only expected nothing of it, within the first 20 minutes, I was like, this is going to be a chore to watch. But then by the end, by the end, I don't know if I wrote it down or not, but I was like, there should be a third movie. That's what I wrote after the end of this. Like, I would watch another movie of this. Yeah.
There is talks, apparently.
I would do it.
But
I'm on board.
I don't know if there will be, because it did not do that well box office wise.
Because no one knew it happened.
Pandemic into. That's true.
Yeah, I think if they did do a third one, I would prefer to see more work between Ryan and Salma. Like, I think you kind of need to sideline Samuel for a minute.
And I think they could do that.
their dynamic was just, like I said, perfection. Like, they were really so funny together.
Yeah. Now that, like, she officially adopted him, they could really play off the whole mother-son joke thing. That would just be amazing for a third film.
Yeah, I think that would be so much freaking fun. And yeah, just like exploring what his life is, not being a bodyguard anymore, and just everything else. Like I think you could have so much fun with that.
Yeah, I think so that I don't know.
Be upset at that at all.
Yeah, we need a third movie, guys. Let's make it happen.
Gonna probably have to wait another 5 years.
Dude, we'll have a Hitman. We'll have a Hitman's. We'll have the Deadpool's Hitman's wife's bodyguard, and that will be the movie. It'll be Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool in the same movie with Sam Jackson and Selma Hayek. She will be reprising her role as the vampire from Dusk Till Dawn. Sam Jackson is going to cosplay as Nick Fury, and Deadpool will be there, and Ryan Reynolds will just be like, I don't know what's going on. I'm on sabbatical again.
Oh my gosh. The Hitman's bodyguard, the Hitman's wife's bodyguard, and then the bodyguard's mom.
That's not, yeah. The Hitman's mom's bodyguard. But wait.
Well, the Hitman's Samuel Jackson.
The Hitman's wife's bodyguard's mom. There it is. We did it, guys. All right, let's sell it to Hollywood.
So acting, sitting at an 82.3. I don't think there's much else to say about that. I think their performances were pretty well altogether.
Yeah.
Not their top acting ability, but pretty, like, above average.
I mean, I haven't seen Salma Hayek in a lot, so, like, for me, this is high up for her, because, like, one of the things that which I really shouldn't be comparing it to, because I'm sure she's been in better movies, is the Grown Ups films that I've seen her in. And I mean, she's funny in those, but she's definitely better in this role.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. All right, moving on over to character development. I think all of us agreed that this is where the movie sorely lacked. So it's sitting at a 66.3.
Glad I was actually on the same page finally.
I was going to say, I was for sure
for one
probably
score.
The nicest to this one, because I gave it a 70. And by the way, I only gave it a 70 because of that last scene where she adopted him. Like that was for sure the only reason.
That came out of nowhere, and I loved it so much.
Yeah. I based this score off of Ryan Reynolds' character and how he grew.
What was your score, by the way?
Mine, I had it at a 68.
No, what was yours, Rose?
61.
I can't remember. Oh. Damn, I didn't know it was that mean. Well, okay, actually, I do have Oh, sorry, go.
No, what were you saying?
No, I think I can kind of actually back up that score. Because because considering that this is a sequel, I did kind of try to take what character development he got in the first one and bring it into this one and see how it progresses his character. And the thing that kind of annoyed me with this one is at the end of that movie, he gets back it's supposed that he gets back this girl that he loved. You know, they apologize to each other. It looks like he's going to live like happily ever after with being a bodyguard again. And then basically this movie starts and it seemed like none of that ever happened. And he's just back to square one. What the hell?
My biggest problem with Ryan Reynolds' character was I'm on sabbatical until he wasn't on sabbatical. Because he got screwed over by his dad because his one goal in life was to become a AAA rated bodyguard again. And then he was like, that's it. I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm not wearing seatbelts anymore. Everything's going off the rails. I'm Ryan Reynolds and it's time to shoot people in the face again. And then at the end, like, it's funny because simultaneously the thing that brought character development up that is the same thing that didn't bring it up any higher is because he, again, even though he said he's like, that's it, I don't need to be a bodyguard. I got the pep talk from my new dad, Darius, and I don't need to be the bodyguard anymore. He thought he was signing the papers to become a bodyguard again. It's like, hey, bro, what was the whole point of like being on sabbatical and then making that decision where you were like going to go rogue and like do your own thing and you didn't need to be rated to, oh, well, I can be AAA rated again. Here I go. And then he's like, what? I'm your son. Like, okay, cool, man. Like, so this movie, so you basically did nothing this whole movie as far as like development wise.
Yeah.
Dude, and I think like something about that joke, and I think it's just me overthinking it. Like, does he not read what he signs?
No, he takes pills from people who are crazy and eats them. Why would he not sign contracts suddenly that just appear in front of him?
It's probably that he didn't think that Frank Grillo's character was going to give him an adoption paper. He probably just assumed, oh, it's me being reinstated as a AAA bodyguard. That would just make the most sense. Not a damn adoption paper.
Yeah. I had to suspend a lot of disbelief for that because I don't sign my name on shit without reading every single word.
Oh, really? How many times have you clicked I agree and pressed OK?
That's not signing a contract.
It for sure is.
God damn it, he's got a good point.
It for sure is. Oh, that is why.
Can't...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, they can't prove that I was the one that agreed to the terms of service.
Yeah, we all know that people just give their phones away to people to just use. Sometimes I just let strangers use my phone and they just pick I agree and press OK to stuff.
Okay, anything that I've done in the military, I have read very thoroughly before signing.
Sure. Yeah, because the military is not known for being like, yeah, cool contract, bro. Rip, rip, rip. You do what we say now.
Another fair point. We could go on for a few hours about that. But we're not going to. Because we're trying to stay on track.
By the way, you guys kept talking about Frank Grillo. Didn't realize that he was Crossbones in Civil War, and he was a guy in the Purge movies. So, oops. Oh, he was also in the Winter Soldier. There you go. Didn't recognize him at all.
Dude, something was off about his face in this movie. I don't know what it was, but it just looked
I think
off.
it was like, and this is nothing against him. I think he's gained weight.
I think it's just
At least
from
in the
how
face.
from Brooklyn he was. He was so from Brooklyn and in Europe.
Because I don't know, in like the Purge movies and the Captain America movies, his face just looks like a lot more like bone on bone. I think the word is I'm looking for, like maybe
Gaunt,
like more chiseled.
almost like.
There we go.
Yeah. You know
But
what?
yeah,
It's
for
funny
some
because
reason-
now that you said that, I can now picture him in the MCU now. Thank you. You've helped me today.
You're welcome.
Cop face has a real face. It's Crossbones.
Yeah. So you think he gained weight? Because
I
I
would have to,
thought
like,
his
look
face
at
looked more sunken in than anything.
I mean, maybe that Botox is catching up. I'm just kidding. I don't know if he uses Botox.
I'd have to look at like compare pictures.
I'm gonna do that after we wrap up here because I gotta know I gotta figure out the huge difference here.
Yeah.
It's like sad. This is how that's how I spend my Wednesday night.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
but
Monday morning, okay?
There we go.
Yeah, but character development wise, I don't think we were too impressed with what they did. I think going off of Ryan Reynolds' character, he just didn't have a whole lot of growth or an arc that really felt worth a damn.
None of them really did,
Like,
except for Salma
none of
Hayek.
them.
Really, like she was the only, and she didn't even have an arc so much as that, like, rather than just be broadly crazy, it just got focused in onto Ryan Reynolds after he saved her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, character development sitting at a 66.3. Moving on over
Fair.
to effects, we are sitting at a 77.
That's not bad.
I disagree with this already because I think that there were two terrible effects. Two terrible ones. Right at the beginning, there was some, like, they were driving through like a countryside or something, and for some reason they just were like, you know what, this scene needs some CG butterflies, and they put in the worst butterflies I've ever seen. It just looked like they hired me. They were like, hey man, do you have access to YouTube in 3 hours? And I was like, I guess. And they were like, all right, you're an effects person on this movie now. Make butterflies happen. And that looked terrible. And for some reason, I don't remember why I wrote this. Terrible helicopter effect. I think they were on a helicopter and it like looked very not real. Like this was near the beginning.
Oh, no, it was when they were being chased on that bridge and the other hitman was like flying around. Yeah, that helicopter looked like garbage.
That's fair.
But to counter all of that, like the Jaguar exploding was amazing. Like I mentioned before, when I thought we were talking about story, turns out it was effects. All the chases, minus the weird helicopter, but all the chases were great. All of the fighting, the gunfighting was good. Like, I don't know. I thought this was a good movie as far as that was concerned.
Yeah, the reason I docked was because a lot of the CGI, like the practical effects, looked really good. It was a lot of the special effects that I thought looked like garbage. Like what you said, the butterflies didn't look super great. The bridge collapsing, the helicopter didn't look super good. Anytime Ryan Reynolds got hit by a car, which was a lot.
Yeah, because it was more than once. You're like, again, for real?
And he got hit like significantly hard.
Yeah, he for sure died after the first one, and everything was just a lithium nightmare that he was having.
Okay, maybe I don't know car, like getting hit by car physics, but when the first time he gets hit, how many times did he flip upside down in the air?
A lot.
How many times did he flip in the air? That's like, it seemed like too much, right? I mean, like I said, I've never been hit by a car, so I don't know how many times you would flip in the air.
So
I don't know. I don't know how fast she could have been going because she would have had to flip
she was
him
not
as
far. She was
hard
like
as
what,
she
20
did.
or 25 feet away from him, and just gunned it that quick.
Yeah, if you gunned it, you could maybe get up to like 30 with the distance that she was at.
So, as the only person here who has been hit by a car, I will say this: it happened when I was 15 years old. I don't remember any of it. Thankfully, someone was there to see it, so I know that what happened to me was I didn't do many flips, but I sure did one flip. I did one flip, and I landed on my face, and I slid for like 10 or 15 feet. And when I awoke, apparently I looked like half of me was Freddy Krueger. And the doctors were like, "You will never grow facial hair on that side of your face." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." And for those of you not watching right now, I have a very full beard, supported by Leviathan Cross Beard Oil. Thank you, Sleep Terror John.
Sneaking that ad.
Yep. Gotta do it.
But it's like, what else was I going to say about that? I can't recall. All that to say, he would have at least flipped once. I can vouch for the fact that he would have at least done a flip.
Yeah, but I think other than that's what I docked for a lot was the special effects. Practical, I think they did a pretty decent job. I don't think there was anything outstanding in anything that they did. I think a lot the car chases were pretty cool, but honestly nothing we've not seen before.
Well, but that plays into what I was saying before about this could have easily been a slightly more serious movie in the mid-90s starring Bruce Willis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, and by the way, that's what I was going to say. Another reason why I wished I had been on the Suicide Squad episode. Did you guys know, since we're in effects, that when King Shark, when they go to that freedom fighter camp, and I think that's where it happens, where he just pulls that dude in half? Is that where he does that?
No, he does that one in the rain.
But is it not a freedom fighter that he pulls in half? Doesn't matter. But we all saw the shot where he pulled the guy in half. So apparently the shark was CGI. The thing getting pulled in half was a practical prop that actually existed in the real space.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
That is really impressive.
I love James Gunn. Anyway.
Dang, I wish I would have known that. I probably would have given it an extra point. All right. Any other effects you guys want to talk about? Like I said, effects is sitting at a 77.
I got nothing.
Again, that when he put the Jaguar, when he put all the gas on it and exploded it and started playing whatever song it was, I really enjoyed that a lot. The Jag, remember he took his dad's Jag and then got darted up, and then when he came back to the house, he was like, "You really are an idiot," because he's like, "What's the Jag doing back here?" And then he took a gas can, lit it on fire, and it exploded. I thought that was a very nice scene effect. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like they did that for real.
It really did look real.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I would be surprised if that was CGI. Because if it was CGI, that's where the entire budget went.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I put. I should have known something. I'm sorry. I need to backtrack for just a moment. I put he did not earn the Jag. Because whenever his stepdad, Morgan Freeman, handed him the keys to the Jag, and he's like, really? You're going to let me drive the Jag? You wouldn't even let me look at it as a kid? He's like, you earned it. And that I did say it out loud. I'm like, he did not earn that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And there was a lot of shit that I wasn't allowed to look at as a child. Like the stuff that I would have to do to earn the right to drive it it's unreachable.
Dude, I figured out what we're going to do. We're going to steal your dad's Harley. Let's go.
Damn.
Oh my, dude, like, I could feel my blood pressure rising just thinking about that. Like, that would give me such anxiety.
Do you think it could make it to Georgia?
Dude, no joke. There was a day my youngest brother threw a water balloon at me while I was in front of my dad's garage, and the water balloon hit my dad's Harley, and we thought he was going to murder us. And he wasn't even home. It was water, and we thought we were going to die. Like, we freaking, like, ran inside, grabbed all of the lint-free cloth towels that we could find, the microfiber towels, and dried that off to a shine, and just pray that he didn't notice when he got home.
Let me guess, he did.
You want to take a guess at how old I was when that happened?
8.
16.
17.
Damn.
And my brother was 13.
Shit. Wow.
Yeah, so the water balloon hit, and we're just like, Dad's gonna murder us.
Okay, you know.
And then when he got home and went into his garage, we were like at the back door, just like staring at him, making sure, trying to see if he noticed.
What is wrong with you boys? Nothing.
I'm still not 100% certain he knows about that, but
well, we can tell him as we steal his Harley.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? After this, I'm going to go over to your parents' house, going to hotwire that bad boy, and I'm going to hit the road. I'll see you in a couple days.
Listen, I know some nefarious characters. We can get that thing this weekend.
All right, before we get into more trouble, moving on over to music, we ended up giving this a 7.
I'm okay with it. What did I give it? I feel like I rated this one really high because, again, I like the...
You did. You had it at a 9.
Yeah, you know why I gave it a 9 is because I really liked... Again, I was coming off the Suicide Squad, and, I think James Gunn uses music very well in movies. I really like how he uses music. And the fact that none of the music, the licensed music that they used seemed forced or wedged in. It all again, when he was all drugged up and he was just imagining himself driving that thing, and you hear Simply the Best playing in the background, that was perfect. I really that music choice made me laugh, and I appreciated that. And just all of the chase music, anytime there was an explosion, there was good music playing. I enjoyed the music in this movie.
Yeah, the music was pretty good. Rose, you ended up giving it a 5.
The only song I remember from this movie is just "Hello" by Lionel Richie.
Hello.
So, that's the only thing that stuck out to me, and it really wasn't that big for me. So I probably sound like a dick for giving it that low, but
I don't know, because is it just when you guys judge music, are you doing it by music or just the music in the movie, or the soundscape of the whole thing?
kind of the soundscape of the whole thing, because like we've used it for like horror movies, the use of silence. Like we've thrown that into our score before.
Because
it's just kind of I think we could honestly change music to audio.
Yeah,
but music is just like a big part of the
like this, because I definitely judge this on those moments that I talked about, but I can for sure get on board with a 5 or a 6 as far as the rest of like the quote unquote music went, because like it was it didn't like, you didn't feel like pumped. Like there was nothing I don't know how to describe it other than I agree with all the other parts that I didn't say. Like I can agree with the 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I thought the soundtrack as a whole was pretty killer, so that's why I ended up going up to a 7. But what kept me from going any higher was it just felt like they were throwing the music in. It didn't really seem to fit the tone of the scenes very often. Like there was a couple times where it did really well, but there was a lot where I forget what song it was, but there was an instance with a song that it felt very out of place for the scene.
You should rewatch Suicide Squad and then watch this movie again, and then you'll rate it a 9 like me.
Because you want to I really like the soundtrack for Suicide Squad, and we ended up giving that one pretty high.
No. The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
I was the only one that gave it a 10, wasn't I?
No movie has wedged music where it didn't belong more than The Suicide Squad. That was a travesty.
Yeah. Well, we're not disagreeing with you on that one. All right. Moving on over to costumes. We ended up giving this one a 7 as well.
I think I rated this one absurdly high too. Yeah, I gave it an 8 just because like they wore what they should have been wearing. Like he didn't magically, like it didn't go from like one scene to the next, like suddenly one scene he's covered in blood and then the next scene for no reason he's not covered in blood anymore. I don't know. I liked how Antonio Banderas, they like a couple of the characters kind of like out loud commented like, this guy looks ridiculous. He's wearing a flamingo jacket. Like, what is happening right now? The cop face looked like a cop face. Like he's wearing the mid trench. He looks like he could be out of like a Humphrey Bogart movie. The freaking stupid stuck up lady that was like, I've got an accent and no one can quite tell where it's from. Is it British? Is it somewhere else? I don't know. It's European. She dressed like a freaking dork bureaucrat. And Sam Jackson dressed like a hitman would, just kind of like a little flashy, but not super not inconspicuous enough, but not like plain. And you know, Selma Hayek was a crazy person, so whatever she wore was exactly right, because crazy person don't care what they're wearing.
Yep,
this is true.
Yeah, I think a 7's a pretty decent home because I don't think there was anything like too memorable.
No,
regarding the costumes, but really. I think everyone fit.
Well, Morgan Freeman's vest. Okay, come on.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Yeah, that was pretty fire. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and honestly, what I liked about Antonio Banderas' costumes wasn't necessarily costumes themselves. I think those were just pretty. They were okay, but I think I liked the most the comments that were made about him. Like, I think Ryan Reynolds said, like, it looks like he's wearing a curtain. So costumes sitting at a 7. And now finally getting into our personal grade. Rose, you forgot to put in your personal grade.
Ah, damn it, sorry. Well, okay.
So
In my
you wanna
defense, I did
give
not
it your
know that
personal
DJ
grade
was going to be on today. In my defense, I'm just saying.
Oh,
I
I
really?
forgot to do something.
Yeah.
I forgot there was something
logged
I
on. I'm
needed
like,
to do.
oh shit, DJ's joining us.
That's so funny because how long ago did we set this up? Like 2 or 3 days ago?
Yep.
Caleb, you son of a bitch.
Okay, in my defense, like anytime we talked, stuff came up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sure.
Dude, like no joke. Like I was talking to DJ like earlier today, and like anytime we were like texting, I was like, I need to remember to tell Rose. I need to remember to tell Rose. And then you would send me something like, "Oh, did you see this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then I'd get distracted.
I know I was in the middle of texting
distractible.
DJ, but I'm talking about this now with you, Rose, my co-host. Anyway, surprise.
Hey, it was a great
Dude,
surprise.
I'm the type of person.
I don't care.
I'm the type of person that if I lose my phone and I go looking for it, find it, and if there's a notification on my phone for like something like, oh, it's this time, you need to go do this, I'll be like, oh yeah, and then I'll go do that thing that was on my notification and then completely forget where I left my phone.
Good Lord.
Caleb, what? Your wife is super organized, I bet.
Yeah. Like something she started doing, she sends me she sends the event notifications on Google Calendars for when I need to like take out the garbage when I get home. Otherwise I won't do it.
What a good woman you have. When are you going to let her go on the show? Why the...
Dude, I wanted her to be a part of the show. She just doesn't want to.
Let her be a special guest. Come on. I don't know why you're holding her back from this show.
I know. I'm not the one holding her back.
Does she listen to the show?
I don't think so. I mean, she does when she...
She can pick whatever movie she wants.
So when we were in the me and her were living in Provo, our bedroom and the bedroom that me and Rose would record in were right next to each other. So she would make comments from the other room, and I'm like, if you want to talk, just like come sit down with me and like we'll do this. And she's like, no, I just wanted to make these little comments here and there. And then she'd do the same thing when I was living with my in-laws in the little hobbit closet. So now she can't make those comments because she's like on the other end of the house.
Listen, tell her that me, you, Rose, Beth, and her are all going to do the super podcast. We'll do Infinity War, because all the 5 stones or whatever are going to come together to do the greatest podcast this world has ever seen. We might even invite Vic for the 6th stone. Vic, that guy. Let your wife be on the show. Stop holding her back. She just wants to be cool for once. You just won't let her.
Dude, I've encouraged her. She just doesn't want to.
That's what you tell us, but I want to hear that from her.
Well, that's going to be difficult.
What's her favorite movie?
I'll try.
What's her favorite movie?
We've done her favorite movie, How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh.
What's her second favorite movie? That's a terrible question to ask because I know Beth's favorite movie. Ask me what her second favorite movie is. I have no idea.
I'm trying to think of... She likes The Time Traveler's Wife.
Do the time travel. Tell her you're doing The Time Traveler's Wife. And she needs to sit in on it because there's going to be a special guest that she's going to be really excited about. And you want her to just see how it happens and goes down. And that's when you ambush her and go, it's you. And then you hand her some headphones and you just do the damn thing.
Bam. There we go.
Yeah.
I did it. First, we're going to heist your dad's motorcycle. Then we're going to get your wife on the podcast.
This is coming together very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to our personal grade of the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Rose, what were you sitting at?
70.
All right, that brings our collective personal score down to an 80.3.
What was it before? What did you rate it? What was your personal grade?
I ended up giving it an 81.
I gave it a 90, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I came into, again, I've said it a few times, I came into this movie, being like, I have put myself behind the 8 ball because this is a sequel, and I have never seen the first one. I don't even really truly know what the first one is about. And I started out not really being into it, and by the end, again, like one of the last 2 things I wrote was, this needs a third movie. Like, I would for sure watch a third movie of this. So, against all the odds, I like this movie kind of a lot. Like, I told Beth, I was like, because she's like, oh, I might have wanted to watch that movie. I was like, I'll watch it with you again. I was like, we can watch the first one and this one. I will watch this movie again.
Yeah. I had a really good time with it. Like, I think an 81 makes it seem like I didn't. Well, it's an 80. Like, it's
I
like
gave
a
it a
B
70.
movie. Like, at least mine. Like, I gave it a B, so it's just kind of like, hey, it was good enough to watch it one time, and this is one of those movies that I'd be willing to watch again. Like, if I just wanted a shut your brain off kind of movie.
It was fun.
Like, it's a good time.
Yeah, I
it's
thought it
super
was fun.
Oh, it is.
Like, I think if you get down into it and try to break down the individual parts, it kind of falls apart, but for the most part, it's a really fun movie.
But again, all those action movies from the mid-90s, I guarantee you, if you broke those down scene by scene, they would fall apart immediately. They're just resting on the Keanu Reeveses and the Bruce Willises and the Sylvester Stalloneses and the Arnold Schwarzeneggerses. And, put those movies in today's context, and we would probably feel about the same, less your Terminator 2. But other than that, I feel like most of those movies would kind of fall flatter than we remember them being.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, so like I said, we're sitting at an 80.3. So, that concludes this breakdown. So the final All Bros and Untrained Eye letter grade for the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard has come to... I need like a real drum roll.
I gotta get like a mini
come
drum
to a
set off
C+.
Amazon. I'm sure they make it.
I accept this. C+ is very good.
That's
What
not
do
bad.
didn't you guys give Suicide Squad some... that I feel like should have gotten at the least a B-, and I feel like that also got a C.
The newest one?
Got a B.
It got a B.
Maybe I'm thinking of
Oh,
Freaky.
phew.
Freaky.
There was a movie. Wait, man, I gotta look. Anyway,
Freaky
I'm sorry.
got a B+.
All right, I'm wrong. I'm clearly wrong. Tell me the movie. This is, by the way, this is one of my favorite parts of this show. Is nothing was funnier than last week hearing the movies that got better than or less than Suicide Squad, and that dude from Wheel of Death being like, "Oh, wow, what?" I love that guy just for that, just for not holding back at all. He's like, I don't agree with anything you guys are doing over here.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably going to hold a grudge against us for the grade we gave Friday the 13th.
Dude, you could hear the shock and appalled in his voice when he was like, really?
Yeah.
Give it a D.
You really could.
I like that guy.
Yeah, so it is sitting at a 70, like I said, 76.91%.
All right, give us the goods. What did it beat?
Yeah,
Actually,
so
wait,
that
go
puts
the other
it-
way. Say what beat it first, and then say what it beat. If please, Caleb.
So
if you
out of
choose.
all of our C+ movies, which there's 20 of them, There's 20 C plus movies that we have graded. It is sitting at 19.
All right, just kidding.
Yeah, so it is sitting above Unhinged.
Don't even know what
and
that
Unhinged,
is.
Yeah,
it's a good
Unhinged
thriller.
was 76.8. So it puts it. So the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is below the Boondock Saints, which is at a 77.1 or a 0.12.
By the way, The Boondock Saints is one of those movies that I feel like if I ever watched it again, I would say you guys rated it wrong. Because I remember it being really good, but I feel like if I watched it again, I would be like, this is an F movie.
Okay, the Boondock Saints, we actually ended up giving this like really high. The reason it's a C plus is because of Jason Almy.
Correct opinions from Jason Almy.
Let's see. It's below The Strangers Pray at Night, which is at a 77.18.
Damn.
It is below Aquaman, which is at a 77.3.
What? I've never seen that movie, but it has Amber Heard in it. It can't be. I demand a recount.
Dude, that was the recount.
Yeah. Hell, I think it was
Dude,
an A minus before we did the recount.
No joke. It was an A minus before we like redid it. Let's see. It's below Spider-Man, which is at a 77.49.
Oh yeah, I can accept that.
And then also below Wonder Woman, 1984, which is at a 77.7.
I was gonna say, damn, we ranked the first Wonder Woman that low?
Yeah, I thought that too. But yeah, that's where it's sitting.
Not bad.
Yeah, I want to see if I can just real quick. So with all the movies that we've great, oh shit. 139 movies we've broken down.
That's a lot of movies.
Damn. Yeah, we've been doing this for quite a while.
Does that
Holy
include
shit.
the ones that you, when you put out the call for people to do their, give you the reviews that I failed you on when you asked me directly? You're like, do you want to do movies? And I was like, I do. And then I did none.
Yeah, so that's including all those.
Have you guys done The Matrix, the movie?
No.
Guys, I would like to suggest that you allow me to do the Matrix trilogy with you. Not necessarily all at one time, but over the next few weeks or months.
I'm down.
Yeah, same here. I've seen all three. I just don't remember them.
I'm a big... Listen, if you think there are prequel apologists out there, I'm a big Matrix apologist for 2 and 3. Big one.
All right. Hell yeah, I look forward to that.
And you guys might be interested to know, and anyone who made it to the end of this 47-hour podcast, if, first of all, I apologize to all of you. I'm too long-winded, but much like my long-winded counterpart, Jason Almy, you guys might like to know, I raised his ire so much when I talked badly about Goodfellas and Martin Scorsese and said Martin Scorsese was a hack because he had bad things to say about superhero movies, that inflamed Jason, and he is resurrecting a podcast called Pop Culture Mass, and I'm going to be on it, and I'm going to be talking about Goodfellas, the movie. I don't know if that's a Patreon exclusive or not, so Team Almy at patreon.com or whatever it is.
Dude, I have refused to watch Martin Scorsese movies because of that superhero movie comment.
Like, listen, Martin Scorsese, the thing that aggravates me, and you'll hear, again, you're going to hear me rehash this with Jason, but the short version is Martin Scorsese knows how hard it is to make movies. So shut up and make movies, guy. Stop it. Like, don't bust on somebody else that did the thing that you know is so hard to do. Enough. You're dead. You're an alive dead person. Just finish out the rest of your whatever and fade into obscurity, and no one will ever remember you, because even though you don't like superhero movies, for some reason you like to de-age all the actors that you refuse to stop using instead of finding new ones.
Dude, truth. Oh, shit. All right. Well, I think that concludes this week's episode. So, DJ, would you like to tell everyone where they can find you and what you do?
I do a lot of things, but one of them I do is the Untrained podcast with my wife, Bethany. It's a very good show, in my opinion. The hosts are very smart and good looking. And you can find us on the internet at Untrained iPod, all one word, anywhere you are on social media. There's a couple TikToks out there. There's some tweets from every once in a while. You'll get blasts of Instagram. I haven't put up an Instagram post in like 3 weeks, but then all of a sudden you'll see like 4 posts. You'll be like, Pork Hub, I don't remember that episode. And then you'll listen to it and you'll be like, it's as gross as I anticipated. Pork Hub.
Oh my gosh, that was a great episode. And I knew it from the title too. I'm just like I had to check because I like turned it on my way to work, and I leave for work at like 4 a.m. So I'm like dead, and I saw like your episode. I turned it on, and I like looked at my phone and saw P something hub, and I'm like, the hell?
I thought I hit the fire button on DuckDuckGo. But yes, I do that. It's good. I do a show called Dragging the Table. I did a show called Dragging the Table. I keep talking about it because I want it to come back to life, and it eventually will. I'm starting to get to a point to where I'm having more time in my life, so it's solo stuff. It's I talk to people sometimes. It's probably, when it does start back up, it'll probably be solo stuff again to start, and then I'll try and get people on again. And listen, just check us out. I'm very tired. It is 12:30 at night right now on a Wednesday.
Yeah. We apologize.
Not your fault.
Yeah,
Not your fault. It's my dumb microphone that didn't want to play nice.
All right. Well, if you like this episode, want to check out more of our stuff, we are anywhere you can find podcasts. You can also catch all of our episodes on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on social media if you want to hit us up with an episode idea, answer our question of the week. Oh, shit. We have a question of the week.
This week you had one?
Yep.
What was it?
We actually got answers.
We asked, what are some things you have done to avoid work on a day off?
Oh,
and we got a couple of responses.
I have an answer to that too, but tell us.
Yeah. So the first response we got is from @NellerUp, or Sam Nelson, over on Instagram. He said, I have a theory my wife got COVID. She hated that job. In all seriousness, COVID sucked. She struggled through it. More reading with Rose, please.
You got it, Sam. You got it.
I don't know. You killed it as hard as you've ever killed it today, Rose. So that guy did not get what he asked for.
I'm going to really mess up next time I have to read a movie synopsis. Just for you, Sam. Yeah. Just for you.
You should learn secretly another language, and just proficiently enough so that one day you can just come and just say the whole synopsis in like French.
There we go. That would honestly be worth it.
Yeah, but I'll say COVID's a good way to avoid work.
Yeah.
No, dude,
also,
straight up, like when it it all started when like anyone would say, "Oh yeah, like I'm feeling sick," you had to think that it was COVID, so you couldn't question them on anything, even if they were bullshitting. Beauty of the grocery business. Loved it.
Damn, I couldn't get away with that shit. I drove in a truck by myself, alone, all day.
For sure.
At least when COVID started.
Yeah, me too. Did anybody
So I couldn't
else
be like, oh, I'm feeling sick.
Did anybody else respond? Because I have a great answer to this.
Yes, they did. We got a response from Crash and Taz Movie Seller.
Who? What?
Who's that?
By the way, Vic, if you listen to this far into this, God bless anyone who's listening right now. You're the best of all of us. Because I don't know how you made it this far or why you made it this far. But again, send me a DM at Untrained iPod at whatever, twitter.com, and I will give you a high five emoji.
Love it. Yeah. Let's see. He said he took the scenic route home.
Cool. Thanks, Vic. Nice
put
addition.
an LOL on it. Yeah. So I'd like to know how the hell how do you take a scenic route home on a day off?
Well, I don't know.
He'll have to write in and tell us.
He'll have to write in and tell us, as he will never be on the show again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for almost forgetting to read off your answers to the question of the week. I'm glad we only got a couple.
Wait, I've got one. It's in the vein of what Vic said, except mine makes a little more sense. I just don't answer my phone. Anyone tries to call me that's not my wife who's sitting next to me, I say, why would you be trying to call me? And then other than that, I don't answer my phone, most especially if it's a work person.
That's fair.
Dude, I've worked... okay, it's been long enough that I haven't worked for this person. Yeah, so what I would do... Like, I used to, like, deliver dumpsters. So what I would do is, like, they'd give me a log of things to do through a day, and I would just get the list done. And every once in a while, they would call me and be like, hey, we need you to do this last-minute job today. And I'd be like, okay. There was a time where I was headed home. There's actually a few times where this happened. I was headed home, and I got a call, and they said, hey, we need you to get this job done. And I'm like, sorry, I already parked the truck for the day. And they're just like, really? Like I'm like, yeah, sorry, like otherwise I would go. And I had just gotten on the freeway. Like I was probably going to pass the exit that the job was on. And I'm like, sorry, like I got to do what I got to do. Like I'm already almost home, or just park the truck.
We're here now. Where did you park?
Yeah. Or they would call and say, hey, we have this job. And I'm like, yeah, like I can definitely get to that one first thing tomorrow. Like knowing full well that they wanted me to do it that day.
You can't hit that one tonight? I'm like, nah.
They wouldn't ask, because I'd usually be like, or they'd just say, hey, we got this job. And I'm like, all right, I'm on it. And it like, like that's usually how the conversation would go. And then like that day I was just feeling super lazy, and they're like, hey, we got this job. And I'm like, great, I'll get to it first thing tomorrow. And they're like, okay.
Damn it, Caleb, but sure.
Anyway, getting back into it, or if you want to join us, you can also DM us on social media. You can also, or we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search at The All Bros, or email us at theallbroschannel@gmail.com. Check out our new and updated website, tinyurl.com/theallbros. I did work really hard to update that, so hopefully it's a little bit more
You did a
user friendly.
great job.
And I have a way for you guys to order merch that got taken down on TeePublic because TeePublic freaking sucks ass.
Oh, did you see the one that got taken down a couple days ago too?
Are you shitting me? Another one?
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Ha.
Son of a bitch!
I mean, listen, it's all right. Captain Marvel. It was the lesser of all the Marvel movies.
No, I worked hard on that artwork. I worked hard on all of them, but
No,
Dude,
I'm not
I
talking
didn't
about
start
you.
The best
doing-
part was like my coworker, because I wanted his opinion, so I'm just like, do you think that they had any right to do that? And he's just like, no, they don't own a freaking star in red and blue. He's not wrong.
I'm trying to find this. This is definitely after the show talk, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Some lady kept emailing me from TeePublic and calling me Mark. She goes, Mark, I want to work with you. Blah, blah, blah. And finally, her name was like Andrea or something like that. And I was like, Dear Andrew, I have no idea who this Mark person is or why you want to work with him so badly. Signed, not Mark. And then I immediately got an email back like, oh, hey, DJ and Beth, we're so sorry, blah, 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 my team, da-da-da. And I just never answered them back again. But if I can find that email, I'm going to get in touch with that lady and be like, what's up with all the taken downs? What's up with this? You guys just cave? You cave to giant conglomerations at the drop of a hat? Is that what TeePublic is all about? Or are you going to let the little man make a T-shirt for once and make an honest buck? I'll say to Andrew or whatever her name is.
yeah. But luckily with our new system, you should be, or anyone who wants to should be able to go on, tell us what artwork they want, what kind of design that they want, like all of that info, and we'll make up the design. And basically, you just Venmo us whatever it costs to send it to you, which is about like $13 if you want a shirt. Actually, it's like 10, depending on how much art you want. It's a pretty decent deal. But I still have the link to the TeePublic shop, which, who knows, by the time this comes out, we might not have much of a store left.
Seriously, though.
Yeah. But next week, you guys can look forward to us breaking down the Netflix original movie, The Willoughbys.
Dude.
That's what we were doing.
Listen, I can't speak for Beth. I cannot make plans for her, but I'm for sure, I know for a fact that she would at least be interested in talking about this movie with you.
Dude, yes!
Ooh, hell yes.
Like, we have seen that movie probably 3 times.
Oh, it is so good!
It's a good movie. Spoiler alert for next episode.
Having to seen it.
Yeah, dude. Such a secret gem. I loved it.
Wait, did you say you have not seen it, Rose?
Yeah, I haven't.
Okay,
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Listen, spoiler alert for you. Keep your eye out for the tardigrade in that movie. Anyway.
The what?
The tardigrade, the water bear.
The tardigrade. Okay, the tardigrade.
You'll see it. They only show it for a second, but you'll see it.
Okay.
All right, but until then, this has been the All Bros podcast with special guest DJ from the Untrained Eye.
Hey.
Yeah, and we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
So long. DJ did it better earlier, so I can't really.
Dude,
can't top
put
it.
some more effort into it.
Are you really not doing it?
Oh no! So I thought. Oh, I didn't know you guys were waiting for me. I'm sorry. Okay. So long. There we go.
Hey.
Perfect.
Guys, we've been recording for 209 minutes.
Jeez Louise.
I'm stopping the recording now.